Get in! Get in the startup! Get in! What's up, Otterlord? What's up, Estranged? How you doing? In high definition. Dang, I didn't even have to pay for the standard definition rental. You're giving me the high definition? That's hype. I don't know if I'm worthy of that. Hope y'all are doing well. Welcome to this beautiful Saturday. Elian, what's up? You're probably vibing in the afternoon over there. Hope you're doing well. I had one of those boring Fridays, so that meant I was able to wake up on a Saturday and do this. So we are doing it for you European people because I promised to stream every week. And we streamed at 2 p.m. on Thursday, so I felt a little guilty. And I said, you know what? Makeup stream. Let's do a makeup stream. I don't mind it, and I kind of want to do it anyways. So let's just do a makeup stream. What's wrong with that? I'll also get some music going here. Let me see if this works. Oh, wow. That's really loud for you and not loud for me. Let's figure this out. I'm going to turn that down. There we go. And I'm going to go to my heckin' screen capture and figure out why my headphones don't work. Usually I just have to flip it off and back on. There we go. Oh yeah, we're grooving. Some simple house drums. That's how you start the day. Tailwind, yep. I put all the tools in the title because it brings people in, no matter what we're doing. Web Components brings exactly 0 people, which is totally fair. I don't like them that much either. Astro brings usually the Astro people, which is good. And the word Tailwind just brings everyone else. I've been trying to find that hook of like, you know what? I am doing some things that are off the beaten path, but I got to do something that's at least a little bit in the zeitgeist. And React was that for a little bit. And I do use React. But for a lot of things I'm doing recently, I don't want to use React. So what can I do now? Well, I like Tailwind. So I'm going to be very loud that I'm using Tailwind. And it seems like it works. I'm here for Tailwind. See? See? I told you. And yes, we are using Tailwind. No worries. There's definitely going to be some Tailwind hype on this stream. But there's not going to be any React. We're going to be using Tailwind in a slightly different way that actually is a really nice way to use it, even if you're a React person. So you might learn a thing or two today. But let me hop over to my local host and we can check it out. I don't know if my local host is running. I think I put it on a different port. I did. Cool. I'm here totally for the web components. Well, Elian, I mean, you're here for Astro, and web components is number 2. We using Tailwind 4.0? That's actually a good question. I wonder if we could. We're not using 4.0, but we totally could switch it up. I don't know if we'll use it to its full potential. There's another website I'm working on where we definitely can use it to its full potential. I don't know. Is this a Tailwind 4.0 stream? I'm not sure. I mean, it can be. But it wasn't what I woke up to do. It is possible. I don't know how well it works. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we got to find out, I guess. Because I was going to do a Whiteboard the Web about Tailwind 4.0. So maybe I should try it. Yeah? It's only an alpha. What could go wrong? Well, we're using an entire database platform that's pre 1.0, so what could go wrong? There's Tailwind 4.0 question mark coming soon. And this is on the Tailwind repo itself. It's got a lot of thumbs downs. Why has it got a bunch of thumbs downs? Interesting. Oh, this is May 26, 2022. So there were a lot of thumbs downs for ideas on this thread. Let's look at this piece of history. What's going on here? I just found this. Oh, my keyboard. I need to plug it in. 1 second. Do that. Hello? Hello? Okay, you're working. But yeah, look at this page. Tailwind 4.0. And this is... Oh, it's from someone who's not Adam Wathan. Well, that makes a lot more sense. So he's just like, coming soon? Let me just throw down all of my ideas. There were a couple people in Astro like this. And, yeah, if you think this is an excuse to dump all of your ideas in one thread, it's not. You need to start discussions for each idea And if you're like, I don't want to start that many discussions, then you have too many ideas. Choose the best one. God. What is going on with this? What is going on with this? I guess inline is something weird. But why truncate that? He's just like, I want these to be shorter because I hate typing. And then he's got parens, and I think there's a good reason why you can't use parentheses. But yeah, he's just like, that. Interesting. So for states, he was suggesting, or she, I'm not sure, was suggesting parentheses. And over here, they're also showing how it composes. You can't put spaces because that'll apply different CSS classes. They don't understand the basics. Then over here, we have leading for... No one even uses the leading that often. No one uses it that often. I don't know. And then he's just like, yeah, truncate that. I don't know. just do better class names for these. I don't know what they would be. I just don't like them. You got this. Maybe 8 pixels too. I don't know. Change font normal to font regular. Why? And text base. Maybe. The hard opinions begin. What? What? Okay, now it's hard. Now we're in hard mode. Over here, changing these to colons, even though they're not selectors. That's weird. And then over here, why this? I don't know what this is doing. This is just... I don't think I agree with any of these. I don't think there's one option in here that I agree with. Dang it. I understand some of the reasons, I'll be honest. I do understand some of the reasons. Because using colons to mean pseudo-selectors and media queries is a bit overloaded. So they're suggesting, let's have different syntax for selectors versus these. The problem is the colon makes way more sense for pseudo-selectors. Because in CSS, it would be... Well, it'd be colon hover, not hover colon, but still, something similar. I would say use parentheses for media queries. I think that would make more sense, maybe, if you're going to change them. But you can't use white space, so this just doesn't work. You can't do that. They were also suggesting, let's stop repeating the pseudo-selector over and over. Again, you can't do that because of CSS classes getting parsed as different classes. Like, you just can't do that. But I understand the reason why you would want this. It is a bit annoying that you have to have atomic selectors every time, because you start repeating yourself more and more the more complex it gets. I like the Y for and X for. I mean, yeah, but that's already in the framework. They're suggesting let's also do that for these. I'm not sure I agree with that. Oh, wait. Oh, this is a little different, isn't it? But wait, this already exists. Y for and... Doesn't this already exist? Well, okay, I see what you mean. Like, we have it for padding and margin, but not for arbitrary positioning. I mean, I don't use absolute positioning that often, so this isn't a huge deal. And how would you do inset? What would inset be? I guess it would still be inset 4, because we just don't have a way to say that, other than I4, which would be weird. I don't think we need to make absolute positioning easier. I guess that's my take. I don't know. I kind of like that it's harder. But maybe that's wrong. I don't know. You know what? Of all the options, I do agree that's the best one. This is what Tailwind could have been, I guess. I don't know. Over here, we also have... Okay, now they... that's... Why a colon? The colon just doesn't make any sense. Same for these. I don't get it. I kind of get that this is text. Now we're going to add options. But now we're, again, making the colon mean too much. It's so weird. What? You just bash it on React for no reason. Unsolicited feed. I love this. A while ago, I went to work at the Docs website. It didn't even take me 30 minutes to hate React and be careless about helping at all. It was so buggy and so slow. What is this PS? Is this a DHH blog post? Dang. Since you guys are working on a new version, can you please build the website with Svelte while you're at it? It's so much easier to use Svelte, okay? That's all. Thanks for the hard work. This is such a strange thread. You might want to share your thoughts instead of downvoting. Well, okay. Although I like these, maybe you mean to... Yeah. It's not even worth a reply. I don't even know. What is the benefit of shortening so many class names? I don't know. Group classes to single name one. You can't do that. Okay, I love this. There it is. There it is. We found it. Combo breaker. 4764. I love that. It's like dropping a snare drum down a bunch of stairs. I like it. I like it. Well done. Development mode. Production mode. Slam. It would be unreadable for people. Make the project professional. I like it. Seems like Bootstrap? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not change the names for now. I like that there wasn't really any serious conversations. Just like, let's let that die down. But it is funny. I would say some feedback on what not to do giving a GitHub discussion. Don't bundle all of your ideas into one, because it's hard to talk about any one thing when it feels like it's a whole package. It's like the government trying to sneak in a bunch of addendums to one law. Let's just focus on the one thing and break out discussions for the separate things. It's just a better idea. And also, yeah, I mean, this isn't a thread where you would get serious feedback, but yeah, don't go off topic and just talk about things. Don't say the hard part begins, because that's very presumptuous of what's hard and what is easy. And for the love of God, don't bash React for absolutely no reason. You can bash them for any number of reasons, but you can't bash them just here talking about Tailwind. That doesn't make any sense. Be a better open source contributor. That's my advice. I'm wondering if there are any good options for hosting Docker containers for free. Yeah, dude, Fly.io I think would be the easiest option. They help you distribute it. You can upload a Docker image, and they'll host it for you. I don't really have much else to say. They work on Elixir, or they help with people that use Elixir. So if you don't use JavaScript and use something else, they actually care. So yeah, Google Cloud Run. All right, that's cool. I know Elian has some experience with hosting on Google. I don't, but that's good to know. I would definitely check out Fly.io as well, though. I know the JavaScript community likes this if you just want a node server. So yeah, go check it out. Is that a Ben Holmes? It is absolutely a Ben Holmes. And this is an Ed Bert. I've never said your last name. I've just avoided it until now. Bert. Is that a full last name that I'm reading there? Or is that 2 words? I never know with usernames. Ed Bertnikes. Ed Bertnikes. No. I think Bertnikes? Bertniks? Bertniks. Maybe? Bertniks? We're trying. We now also... I'm sorry if I insulted you, by the way. You can tell me how it's pronounced. First one was correct. Well, I know Ed was correct. I know I got Ed right. Oh, no. We do have an Astro app running on Google Cloud for image hosting. Trust me, people, if you're checking out Astro DB, we will have image assets as a fast follow. Image assets are high on our list. We were ruthless with scope creep, and we said, don't do it. Instead, try to build an entire content layer like Gatsby. We had really good scoping. Y'all don't want to know how many failed ideas happened behind the scenes. There were a lot of them. But yeah, image assets were the one thing we punted, and we will get to. Okay, so Tailwind 4.0. Let's actually take it seriously, right? So shared a preview of Oxide. Really exciting. Open sourcing our progress. Tagging the first release so you can start experimenting with us. Okay to ask an Astro DB question? Absolutely. This is the place, I think. But if it's a support question like this thing broke, probably ask it in the support threads, because we got people in Europe that check those threads on the weekends even, so I know there's weekend hackers. But yes, you can ask a question. Let's see what it is. Very interesting discussions we had. Oh, yes, absolutely. All right, so they've open sourced. Well, this is just bumping straight to Tailwind, and I guess we're looking at the next branch. Very cool. We tagged the release 4.0 Alpha. A new engine built for speed. Gotta go fast. Let's go. All right, 10 times faster. I know, I've read this blog post before, but the thing that I'm most excited about on here, native cascading layers, pretty cool. Add property is something I need to learn. It's a way to almost define a type for a CSS variable to say this is going to store a background color, and you can't put anything in this property that isn't a background color. Like, it's pretty cool. You can type it, and it looks like they're going to lean in. Color mix. I'm excited about color mixing and that kind of stuff. You can do some fun Tailwind selectors to like make a color a little bit lighter or a little bit darker. But it looks like they're going all in with color stuff, so that's cool. Container queries is crazy. I don't know how that works, but they got it. Still pushing Uno CSS. I don't like Uno. I'm just going to go just straight out the gate. Uno lets you do too much. Everything is regex based. You can change up the classes way too many ways. I don't like Uno. Hard take. Hard take. I would rather use Tailwind. That's it. I get that the Vue people love it, but the Vue people are crazy sometimes. And I don't know if I want to follow them down the Uno train. I don't know if I want to. Total newbie. Remote DB works. Config. Okay. Local deb. Yep, but does not push the schema or seed data. Just feels like I'm missing a stupid step. Okay. So remote, config, and seed work there. Local dev server creates temp DB, but does not push schema or seed data. Wait, so your local is having issues? Because that's interesting. Whenever you start the dev server in local, you should see your tables and your seed data. So do you have your seed TS? Are you running your dev server, or are you trying to like introspect the database with other tools? Like, what's going on there? Am I right that local dev is having a problem, but remote is working fine? Just want to make sure of that. Yes and yes. All right, interesting. I don't know why local would be having issues. I would need to see your config file because something could be malformed. If your remote is working, that's why I'm really confused. Because I'm like, your config's obviously correct because you got it working in remote. I'll at least highlight a couple things that I've broken in the past and see if any of these help you. If they don't, I'm not sure. You might have to open a support thread. I'm really sorry. But I'll at least give it my best shot here. So, did you put your table inside of DefineDB? It's easy to forget putting your table here. If you remembered that, then it should at least exist. Okay. So, another thing, I know you're like, okay, turn it off and turn it back on again. Okay, kid. Okay. I'm trying. So it probably looks like this, right? You export a default function, you have all the things, and it's named db/seed.ts. It's not a different file, right? This is the file. And also, do the types work in your project? Like, what am I missing? Because it seems odd to me that your remote is looking fresh and good. That seems weird. I don't know why that would be happening. This is the first time I've heard my local is broken, but my remote works fine. Usually it's the other way around and people didn't figure out how to push or something. You should definitely come and open up a support thread. Yeah, thank you. Elian might actually be able to help you right now. I'm not going to promise anything, but he's around. So config and seed all good on remote after DB push and execute remote. Interesting. Yeah. Open that support thread. Head to astro.build/chat. I know I'm pushing you over here, but it's not a bot. It's real people. We try. We might be able to share some code snippets over there, because sharing code snippets over Twitch is really tough. So head over there. Discord has a support channel. You can open something up, and you can probably tag Elian, or Elian can find the most recent support thread. Elian, I'm not going to... okay, I'm basically promising you're going to reply to this guy. I'm sorry, but it sounded like you would. But yeah, head over there, share some code snippets. Let's figure this thing out, because it seems like you should be good. Yeah. I'm sorry, Ellie. You don't have to reply. You totally don't. Will Devin join the support team? No, we are not Devining our support threads. We do have an AI support. If you're like not getting a reply from real people, you can go over there. But I don't know. We saw the Devin success rate where they're like, we got the success rate from 5% to 13% in support threads. Like, you got a ways to go, buddy, until we can trust you. I don't know about you, Devin. I don't know. Been giving me work on the weekends. Yeah, you don't have to reply. I know it's a weekend. I'm sorry. Yep. So be understanding, Badger. It is the weekend. You may or may not get an answer, but yeah, I'm sad for you. I'm frustrated for you because it seems like everything should be working. My last recommendation would be to run npx astro.js/upgrade. This will upgrade any Astro dependencies in your project, or pnpm. I don't know what you use, but run the Astro.js upgrade command, and that'll like bump your packages. I know you might be on an old version. I don't know what would be wrong with that old version, but that can always be it. So at least suggesting something here. I don't know. I literally just scaffolded this and then you started streaming. Well, nice. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. Because if you start your dev server, you should have your types and you should be able to query. That's all I'm thinking. So make sure you've started your dev server and the types line up. Like if you import a comment, if you use the thing, the types should line up at the very least. I'm just curious if a select actually gives you data. It could be a malformed query. I don't know. You can also introspect your database. I don't know. Types are good after the first dev server run. Yeah, what? I don't know what to think. It's so strange. Another thing I will suggest if you're using VS Code, there's this, and make sure the dev server is running when you do this, but there's this SQLite extension. This will let you actually inspect a table. So you can run the command that they suggest right here. See SQL database open in Explorer. If you do that, it'll detect the Astro database and you can look at the tables. So this tool will tell you, did it stand up the SQLite database? Are there tables? Do they have data? So if you try to run this, it will at least let you look at the raw SQLite database and make sure. I was using dbeaver. Okay, that might be part of the problem. If your dev server isn't running while you're introspecting it, it might be empty or some other issue. So yeah, that might be a thing. Also, you have to visit a page. This is interesting, and we might have to change this after some people have hit issues. But we don't seed your database until you use it in your project and you visit a page with that data. That's because we use hot module reloading. So it will not seed the database until you actually visit a route that's using the database. It's just-in-time seeding. We thought that would be a good idea, but people are bringing these introspection tools and they're expecting something else. So we may have to change that. Yep, there you go. That's exactly it. So if you actually visit in your browser a page that's using the database, that's when we stand it up. We do it just in time. But we've seen enough issues that I'm thinking maybe we need to seed on dev server startup. We wanted to avoid it, but maybe we need to. Works with Drizzle? It is Drizzle in a trench coat. So yes, it absolutely does. I would definitely give it a try, dude. Definitely give it a try. Yep. I had a feeling you were an introspection warrior. So there you go. We might change it now that we've been hitting enough issues. Oh, that SEO. That SEO with Astro DB. Look at that. We got the landing page and the docs 1-2 punch. That's good. But yeah, anyone in the chat wondering, what are we talking about? It's Astro DB. Maybe. It's Astro DB. It's really sick. We give you a local database. It works. We give you options. It's nice. Also, fun fact about this. This is using view transitions. Do you like these view transitions? Because I love them. Who needs React? Who needs React Carousel? Very interested in all this, since I've already been turning towards Drizzle and Terso. Yeah, man. This is Terso if you included all the batteries for everything. It's literally Terso, by the way, when you deploy. But it really is like super batteries included Terso. And we're also working on Studio apps, so you could have like a rich text viewer, form builder, whatever you want in the UI. The end goal is like a really friendly database, so get ready for that part. It's not just going to be database storage, because that's already been done. We want to go further. Anyways, for the Tailwind people, I do need to learn about 4.0 so I can make a video. So I'm going to change the title. Well, actually, yeah, that title is totally fine. I thought I said we were doing Trello, but we're, you know what? We're not going to do Trello. Not right now, anyways. We're going to open up. Ooh, let me make sure all of... Wait, it doesn't matter anymore. Oh my god, I can finally show you pages. I used to do a pre-flight check that I don't have any Astro DB showing on my computer. Astro DB is launched. I can show you all of my terrible projects with Astro DB. Heck yeah. Now I don't have to worry. It's no longer stealth mode. Sweet. All right, well, anyways, let's head over to my bhomes dev. Oh yeah, final official, that's the one. And I don't have to hide anything from you. Yay. I finally had a chance to use view transitions in productions. Yeah. It was amazing. Nice. I'm glad to hear it. Well, okay, I'm going to pull up bhomes dev final official, and I'm going to look into some Tailwind 4.0. Because the personal site is where the exploration happens. Just in life. That's where it happens. And for whatever reason, port 4321 is cursed and has a bunch of data storage problems. So, yeah. And look at this beautiful landing page now. Yes, look at him. Hello, Ben. Yeah. Any erases? Boop, boo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Isn't it great? You're going to be able to draw on the whiteboard. That's what you're supposed to do here. And we also have this watch button. Look how clicky this watch button is. Let me click that again. Isn't that just gooey? I like it. Same with these buttons. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. I'm going to have sound effects, if you can't tell. But yeah, I'm really happy. I did some mining off camera and got this done. Nice little heading right there. This section is going to go on an about page. I'm actually going to have an about page finally. I decided I just need one. And yeah, these are view transitions. I didn't do any fun view transitions yet, but the fade is very tasteful, so I might just keep it. Finally, I had a chance to use them. Yeah. I keep rereading comments because I think they're new comments. It's hard being a streamer sometimes. All right. So, yeah, this is the landing page, and it looks great. And it's built on Tailwind Stable. Let's use Tailwind Unstable. So I don't think they have proper docs. We have to go off the blog post to understand it. Oh, this is interesting. So you can use has focus. That's kind of cool. What else? I think the most interesting part is going to be CSS variables for theming. This is what I'm excited to talk about. This is worthy of a whiteboard the web on its own. And this is something I want to use myself. And they've also got OK LCH, which is new color codes to actually let you edit things. Yeah. So you can say, interesting, yeah. There are special CSS variables that you can access anywhere. So let's play with them a little bit. And they've got a default theme, which is probably like a kitchen sink example. Yeah, there we go. That's helpful. So this is like just slamming the default in here. We've got animate, spin, ping. See, this is so much better for adding custom animation classes. I hated writing things in JavaScript strings. I'm late to the Tailwind party, by the way. I've only been using it since like end of last year. And I came in here like, you people live like this? You use a JavaScript file? So I've actually been doing this. If I head over to my own Tailwind config, I've just been routing them to CSS variables anyways. I've been doing what Tailwind 4.0 already does because I was like, I do not want to write any of this in JavaScript. I'm going to outsource it to a CSS variable and assign it here. I don't care if I'm typing the same name twice. So I've already been doing this. I've already been using 4.0. This is what I wanted to have, which is kind of hilarious. So now I can just refactor this to actually be Tailwind 4.0. Sweet. No need to do custom stuff. I think there's certain things where classes just won't make any sense. Like for Tailwind plugins, I don't think you can do this. Like I have a plugin over here that assigns multiple properties at once. Like here, if you do Spring 3, it applies 2 different classes. How do you do that? Other than just add a CSS class that does it. Oh yeah, I think you would just add a CSS class that does it. Who needs a JavaScript plugin? Yeah, let's do it. Let's at least try using the @theme directive. Ooh, and we have Tailwind pre-flight layer based, and we have Tailwind utilities. Interesting. We're still fine-tuning naming conventions, but you can explore. You don't want to explicitly declare the default theme and would rather start from scratch. You can import pre-flight and utilities directly to skip importing the default theme. I'm a little unclear why that's any better, because to me it looks like that's more words to do the same thing. Like, does it do anything better? Is it better to apply it as layers? I don't know. I'm a little confused by that. But let me start from the top. Yeah, major goal was to make it feel CSS native, less like a JavaScript library. Nice. And I bet for the Ruby on Rails folks and the Laravel folks, they will love this, because now you don't have to write JavaScript. Pretty cool. Does a DB plugin work with auth, or is it independent from auth? What is auth? Is that a specific library that you're thinking about? It is separate, but people have started using Lucia auth and plugging it into Astro DB. So this is like a super generic library. Sorry for the light mode. Pilcrow, you're not here, but work on this. He built an entire static site generator, and I guess dark mode wasn't a part of it. Anyways, so Lucia, really nice auth library. It lets you bring whatever thing you want, and it hooks up the session tokens and everything for you. So if you have a user table, Lucia will populate that user table and help you manage it. So you could create a user table in Astro DB, tell Lucia, here's the user table, and put them together. So that would be the way you use auth right now. But as you can imagine, it's a little bit manual. We do want it to look nicer. So here's the Astro starter. You have to optimize depths yourself, yeah. Pilcrow, and I respect this a lot, definitely wants to invert as much control as possible. So Lucia isn't super batteries included. It tells you everything you need to add. You need to set up middleware yourself. There's no middleware plugin. But once you do, it starts working. And this lets you plug in any database provider you can imagine, which is quite nice. But yeah, I made a starter for auth. Okay, Elian, share that in the chat. That's probably going to be super helpful. So Lucia and Astro DB, that would be a great starter project to have. And I can also think to myself, yeah, this is very manual, setting up all of your adapters and all the pieces. Could we have a more integrated solution that says, here's Lucia Astro DB. We set up the middleware for you. We set up the adapter. You don't have to optimize depths yourself. It's all included. And we invert the control for like the user table name and the session token name or whatever else. Oh, so great, Elian. Thank you for this. Let me look at this. Yes. Ooh, beautiful. Okay, generic README. I respect it. Probably needs a little bit of sauce to explain what's going on. But if I head over to... Oh, you can have a middleware folder? I didn't know this. Can you have multiple middleware files? Just a question. I have no idea. But yeah, this is cool. So you can check whenever you're getting stuff. Here we're importing the user table. Okay, and now you're using Astro::DB. I know we were having some trouble with that. But how'd you do it? Oh, interesting. Look at this. So over here, I'm not going to pretend I understand all this. I don't. But if it's a GET request, we can look at the headers, and we can say bad gateway if it's a bad origin or something like that. Makes sense. So you get a bad gateway, you can't access this page. Or no, forbidden is what that means. And then over here, we get your session cookie. This is what Lucia helps you with. And you can check if they're logged in. Well, we'll start by saying logged in false. If not session ID, then we'll just jump to next because there's nothing to check. But then we can validate your session. We can create a new session cookie and move on. Pretty nice. And then this is also checking for that fresh token. I don't know what this is for, but okay, this is cool. Here's where we're actually using Astro DB. So we check the user table. This is a little risque. To just cast to a number and hope it works, but it should work fine enough. Like, you might be passing nan to DB, I think. I'm still confused on number versus %. I'm pretty sure if the user ID was the letter E, this would actually pass an infinite integer. So be a little bit careful with the number casting. I learned it the hard way because mathematically you can put the letter E as an ID. It's nuts. But anyways, you can head over here. Yeah, it could be better. I would use, this is what I've been using in my apps recently. I'll just type it. Zod. And I know you're not going to use Zod in an example, but Zod coerce number is pretty good for strings. Pretty good. I don't know all the implications, but it's a little bit better. But yeah, we set cookies, we set your session, we pass down the user, the whole user, and then you're able to access it. And locals is such a powerful concept. It's so freaking nice. So you can have a middleware that does a bunch of checks, and then it can pass down a variable to all of your pages. So now on every Astro page, every Astro endpoint, I have this user variable ready for me to use. So I don't have to like import user from magic package. User is passed down by middleware, and it can have all sorts of information on it. It's so freaking nice. And it's type safe as well if you're using middleware type definitions. It's great. And this is one of the reasons I'm not super enthusiastic about server actions and other things that the React team is doing. Because server actions are cool. They let you call a function that's on your backend. But how do you access headers and middleware objects and any context, really? You can't. It's just a function. You can import headers from Next.js, and it's really weird to use. Or you could just write a REST endpoint where you have access to all of your middleware stuff. Like, it just makes more sense to not use server actions with all this stuff going on. Anyways, side tangent. But here's a middleware file that lets you set up a user table with Astro DB, handle all your session cookies, and yes, it helps you with OAuth providers like GitHub and the rest. So, thank you for sharing that starter, dude. That is really awesome. I'm glad we have one now. But anyways, let's go back to this homepage. We're gonna check out Tailwind. So this is the advice once you install it, and let's go ahead and install it right now to give it a try. So we have Tailwind 4.0 Alpha, yeah, this one. I hate server actions myself. Yeah, it's just an incomplete story right now. It's really incomplete. And it's going to be a while before they get it right. I'm actually going to show you this little helper that I wrote. There wasn't much enthusiasm because I didn't go far enough. I think we're really spoiled by tools that just do everything for you. But I was like, what if there was a tool that just went one step forward, helping you with type safety? But it didn't go all the way. It just went one step forward. That's been a theme to a lot of libraries I'm building, is instead of building this beautiful framework, let's go one step above the browser defaults and help you do a little bit more. Like, instead of using Alpine.js and all those other tools, let's just use web components with a little sauce to make them nicer to use, but not all the way. Instead of having a full-on form builder, let's do a step forward and just help you parse form requests, because that's the main problem. And here's my most recent addition. Instead of building an entire solution for fetching from your backend, let's just make the browser fetch function a little bit nicer. So I invented this helper called fetch.json, and I invented a couple other helpers too, like fetch.html. My language tools are very slow right now. I'm sorry. But we have fetch.html, fetch.html document, fetch text, anything that you would need to go fetch from a server and also handle the parsing for you. And this will check for accept headers. It will parse out the JSON if we can, and it will give it back to you. No need to like chain it up, because when you do a traditional fetch, if I wanted to rewrite this, I would have to say await fetch from my backend. I would have to say post, and ideally in my headers, I would also say I'm willing to accept application/JSON. And this is a little indicator to the backend. Hey, I'm expecting JSON. Please respect my request. And then when you get it back, you would have to say .then that. You would have to also parse it yourself. And I was like, setting this header is really difficult to do. There's no autocomplete for any of it, and having a double chain for JSON feels wasteful. And I want a little type safety if I'm using JSON specifically. I want it all. So I wrote a simple helper. I can go to the internals right now if you want me to. This is not a package yet, but here's what it does. It takes in your initial stuff. It says, I'm willing to accept application JSON. I'll set it in the headers, and I'm going to parse the JSON. And also, if there's a route in my project to give me type inference, I'll use it. Otherwise, it'll be type any. So if you're talking to a third-party backend, it'll be type any. If it's a route in your project, we'll give you type safety. And then instead of returning a body that's just like gobbledygook, we return the actual JSON. So you don't have to call .json twice. That's it. So it makes fetch a little bit easier to use. And look at this. This is a route in my project. What if I hover over body? Ooh, type inference. Isn't that interesting? So I can do a traditional fetch call, as the pioneers did, but I get type inference if it happens to be a route in my project. Otherwise, it'll just be type any. And then you can just use the body. You don't have to like parse the body yourself. It's just usable now. What do you think? It's pretty cool, I think. And you can also use fetch HTML if you're like an HTMX nerd. And this will give you a little bit of parsing on the HTML document. So this will give you a result. You can grab the body out. And look at this. Body, oh shoot. I actually need to rename it, I think, because of variable conflicts. So this would be like an HTML document, right? Ah, it didn't work. I think I have to do await. Yeah, cool. Look at that. We parse it to HTML. So now, when you request HTML from some backend, you can say HTML query selector right away. You don't have to parse this to HTML. It is HTML, and we parse it for you. Pretty cool, right? So if you're an HTMX nerd and you don't want to use, well, okay, if you're an HTMX nerd, you're not using JavaScript at all. But if you want to fetch HTML from a backend, you can do it like this. There you go. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty nice. I mean, my comments on Twitter were very lukewarm. There wasn't that much excitement, and people were like, if it's not TRPC, I'm not using it. And I'm like, okay, fine. I get that there's a lot of React-pilled people out there, but I just wanted to go one step forward. I didn't want to go 5 steps forward and say, you know what? Server actions, magic bundlers, you can't access your middleware or your headers, but it works. Like, I didn't want to go that far ahead. I just wanted to say, you know what? It's a REST call. And the actual implementation is over here. If you're wondering about type inference, here's how it works. It's really simple. So this is just a REST backend, which is very boring, but you have access to like context. Oh, shoot. If you wanted to access that user object, for example, you could totally just go context locals user. That's the beauty of using REST, is you have all of that middleware available. And inside of here, instead of returning a response, you return a JSON response. That's it. So instead of having to do JSON stringify, this will stringify for you, and it will store the response so that we can infer type safety. So you could just return a response. That totally works fine. But this upgrades your response to something that's type safe. That's the only difference. It's still a response object. And if I look in here, look at this. I just extended the response object. I set the header to be content type application JSON. So you don't have to remember every time. Content type application JSON. You don't have to do that. And it stores the JSON body so that we can infer the types. And that's what we're doing for all the type inference stuff. So you can totally just return normal responses, but this is a way to upgrade a response to be type safe. That's it. Again, very simple, not reinventing the wheel. We're just inferring types from a normal REST backend, and we're not doing anything else. You don't need to do that. It's not React build. React isn't even written in TS. I don't know what you mean. Don't do that. I mean, yes, I think that the React community expects server actions, and server actions have type inferencing built in. It has nothing to do with writing TypeScript files, but it does have everything to do with React has opinions about how you bundle your server now, and those opinions are still in progress. Like, it still has a lot of issues, and we haven't solved those in Astro. We haven't brought it to Astro. And I think it's changed the game of what people expect from a backend. I might change my opinions on server actions when we find an answer for all of these questions. But for now, I'm playing with REST endpoints and I'm just using them. Why is it called fetch JSON to send form data? So here's the interesting part, right? There's a difference between what you get back and what you send over to wire. I am sending form data because the browser often sends form data, but I'm receiving JSON. You might want to send JSON and receive JSON. You might want to send form data and receive HTML. The format that you get back could be different from the format that you send over the wire. And we need to support both, I think. You're often using form data if you're just using browser native forms. So in this case, I actually wanted to get JSON back, so I used fetch JSON. I might want to get HTML back, and I'll use fetch HTML. So whatever is here is what you receive, but it doesn't change what you send. And I know that'll be a little bit annoying, because you do want type safety for what you send as well. I'm still thinking about it. That's not TRPC is coming from a React build. I'm saying that's got nothing to do with React. At this point, it definitely has something to do with React. TRPC doesn't, but server actions absolutely have everything to do with React. And server actions are saying, I want a custom bundler that lets me import a server function and infer all of the types based on that. And I think it is beautiful. I think there's a lot of cool stuff to it. I just didn't want to go all the way and figure out server actions in Astro, at least not today. So I do think the React community is going to expect a lot of type safety. And I think that is React pilled, because it is literally coming from the React community. I think it is a valid statement. I'm going to defend it for server actions. TRPC, fine, whatever. But server actions are what the React team is pushing. It does mean custom bundlers and type inferencing. So yes, I'm gonna stick with that. I'm sticking with it. Sticking with it. Trigger warning. Get them. Anyways, I do like, you know what? These are just helpers for your backend. They may not be enough for you. And I'm still thinking about all the magical patterns that you might need in an app. For this Trello clone, it made more sense to fetch some JSON and send form data. For other apps, it would make sense to just re-request the page or part of the page and re-render HTML. Don't use Optimistic UI at all. There's so many buzzwords, there's so many different tools that you want in your tool belt, and I'm still feeling out which ones I reach for first. But Trello is the one where it's like, I gotta do everything with JavaScript for it to really feel good. It's a tough problem. It's a real tough problem. Now, getting back to our personal site, though, this page is very static, and I love that. It makes it a lot easier to talk about these problems. Is this just for Astro? Right now, that thing I showed you was just a file that I wrote up scrappily. I haven't open sourced it as a library. But to be honest, it would work for anything in Vite, because I would write a Vite plugin for it. So you would have to use Vite. But if you're using anything that has like the syntax for backends, where you can say like, export const post, I believe SvelteKit does it like this. I believe that Nuxt might do it like this, but Nuxt has their own opinions about backend type safety. So technically, if you're using SvelteKit, I know that we could use it over there as well. It doesn't have to be Astro specific. The interesting part is going to be the code gen to figure out all the routes in your project and use that to generate type safety. But SvelteKit does have a different naming convention for their files, so I think it would just be Astro. Yeah, I think it would be. For the type safety part, it would be. Yeah, because we need to know the routes in your project, and it will be based on file names. Astro has a different file naming convention than SvelteKit, therefore Astro only. I don't know. But I think fetch JSON could work without the type safety and just give you like the request response stuff, which is kind of nice. So that could work anywhere. I don't even think it needs to use Vite. Those would just be one-off utilities that you could import into any project. So I don't think it'll be restricted. Was it Dax who started calling you whiteboard guy? I think a lot of people do, but he definitely called me that in his Between Two Ferns interview with Fred. So yes, he probably coined the term. He's the pioneer. We can call him that. I'm fine with that. Tailwind 4.0. I keep finding excuses to go off script. Let's install Tailwind CSS Alpha 3. Let's get it. All right, clear this. Clear the board. It looks like we have something going on. Yeah, I just copied this canvas. So I'll just say whip port canvas code. This is going to be where you can draw on the whiteboard. Get ready for that. It'll be fun. But yeah, we're going to say pnpm install Tailwind CSS. Very exciting. And I need to stay hydrated. Honestly, when will we get that P. Holmes interview? Great question. I got mentioned. B. Holmes mentioned. Back in the Fred K. Schott interview. I remember that. It was like a year ago or so. It's been a while. All right, so now we're on the Tailwind CSS Alpha. We have discuss, join, contributing a doc, but no actual docs. All we've got is a blog post and a dream. So let's see what we can do. We have import Tailwind CSS. Well, let me start with, let's see. You notice that at least in these, it's not even possible to configure a content path. For most projects, you're never going to need to do this again. Tailwind just finds the template files for you. As a language tool person, I'm very scared. I'm very worried it won't find the files. I don't like trusting you because I don't know if you're testing against Astro, dude. I don't know how I feel about that. I think they do have backwards compat with the Tailwind file, though. So we'll see if we can slowly break things out. But yeah, it uses that. And using the Vite plugin, we rely on the module graph. That is very cool. What Vite plugin? Do you show me the Vite plugin? Where can I use the Vite plugin? Can I see an example? Tailwind 4.0 Vite plugin. Can you show me the Vite plugin? Where is it? Okay, it's there. All right, gotcha. Do I install that? I don't know. And yeah, there's no Next.js. Well, Next.js is an absolute mess for the next year until they get their bundler working, so no worries there. I think I have to say pnpm install that. I don't know, though. Probably. So let's install the Vite plugin. It's in development mode. Well, let's see what we can get. Okay. Instead of setting up all your customizations, you can use CSS variables. All right, so we're jumping in. A major goal was this. Once you've installed it, you can add to your project with an @import statement. Very cool. So I don't know how much of this I have to do. So let's just see if it runs, right? Let's see how much of it has backwards compatibility and how much we're going to have to redo. So, oh no. It doesn't even have a default. Okay, so there's no backwards compat yet. Oh yeah, I think the blog post said that. Oh no. Yeah, I don't think you can use the Tailwind plugin in Astro anymore. I think we're going to have to just delete it. I think we gotta wire this up ourselves. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so we have a Vite plugin. We're gonna install Tailwind now as a Vite plugin, right? So this should be a default export, I hope. We have Tailwind Vite, and we'll say Tailwind. Is this a plugin? Yes, it is. So we'll install the Tailwind plugin. We don't want a Tailwind config anymore. So we did extend the font family, the accent color. We're going to have to figure out what to do here. But I'm going to put a little underscore to say don't look at this Tailwind file because I don't think we can use it anymore. There we go. Now we'll just run it again using the Vite plugin now. Okay. It's not dying. Let's see what the page looks like. All right, that's the old page. Show me the new one. Oh, yeah, that's what I expected. There we go. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. So that ain't working. At all. Oh no. That's not good. So I'm worried that they said, don't worry. It's all built in out of the box. Do you support Astro? Nah. That's my guess. And there's no options. There's no config options. Who needs styling? Yeah, go back to basics, man. Sorry for the flashbang of light mode, whiteboard mode. But yeah, we're not off to a great start. We installed the Tailwind plugin. I don't know what files it's crawling, but I guarantee they didn't think about Astro because they only care about Laravel over there and React and Vue, and that makes sense. So has anyone tried this yet? Because clearly my Tailwind ain't loading right now. Let's see what they recommend setting up. So you're just supposed to do this from a main.css file. And I don't know if I do that anywhere in my project. I don't. Well, that seems important. So let's head to the base layout and do it. And if that doesn't work, then we'll do it a different way. But yeah, we have the is global style. We're just going to do this. Huh? Okay, we have some resets. I think that installed something. But none of my styles are bundling correctly. I'm worried that their Vite plugin is breaking Astro styles? I could be wrong, though. I really don't know. And I do have some variables in here that are like from a long lost age. I do think it installed something, though. Let me take a look. So none of my Tailwind classes are getting detected. But I think that the base style is loaded. Because we do have a reset here. At the very least. Can I see something useful? I don't think I can. So maybe we need to set the Tailwind theme variables. Maybe we need the full kitchen sink just pasted in. Adding new CSS variables behave like extend. Okay. So if I add things like this, it should start working. This is the default theme. Maybe I just need to copy paste the default theme into my project. Let's try that. I'll create a CSS file just to keep it simple. I don't know where to put it, really. I'll just put it here. Tailwind CSS for now, right? And this is just everything that you could need. It looks like we have an issue with @theme. It is an unknown rule, but I guess we'll just roll with it. And then over here, we're loading at Tailwind CSS, and then we want to import the thing. I could do it with an import at the top of the file if this doesn't work. But yeah, that should bundle all of it. Okay, that didn't work at all. Whoa. It's doing something. It's definitely trying to do something. But mostly not. Any ideas? Let me see. Tailwind. Let's put it up there. The problem is I have no idea how this works, really. It might be way too early to be trying this. Because, yeah, I don't know. It's doing something, clearly. Huh. Maybe if I... Instead of doing that, let's put the @Tailwind import. Do they put in... Okay, it's outside of theme. Maybe we need that? I'm honestly not sure. Yeah, that ain't working. It's definitely... Oh, okay, we have some animations working. It looks like some animations work, yeah. But a lot of them don't. So if we look at this, what is it applying? What is it managing to apply? I think it's only applying things that I styled outside of Tailwind. Anything that I styled inside of Tailwind don't work. Yeah. Yeah. Anything that I styled outside of Tailwind works. None of the Tailwind classes apply. Dang. That's rough. No content node that Tailwind config usually specifies. So there's no Tailwind config. It is just CSS now. They're saying there is no content. You will just let the plugin do it for you. And that scares the heck out of me because I'm like, you didn't think about Astro, did you? Because I don't like you doing it for me because now I have to trust you to do everything. And if you don't, then nothing works and I'm powerless. I can't do anything as a user to make this work. I just have to wait for them to respect Astro files. That sucks. I don't know. Let me see if anyone has done this on the internet. Well, yeah, they do have this. They have a setup guide. Tailwind CSS, okay. Jack Harrington is someone who knows Tailwind. Okay, wait a minute. Our boy might have done a Tailwind v4 at Astro. Our boy! Jack Harrington! Yes, made of the people. Thank you. Immediate thumbs up. Let's see it. I'm going to lower his volume a little bit. Okay. Yes. How'd you do it? All right. Yes. All right. All right. All right. Yep. We can fast forward a little bit, I think. Oh, okay. Add Tailwind CSS next. Add post CSS next. Okay, so I wasn't installing the post CSS plugin manually. That seems important. I installed the alpha version, which is next. So I'll install pm-i Tailwind CSS post CSS at next. I think in the blog post they said you don't have to install the post CSS part, but okay. Oh, and look at that. He's on Alpha 7. I think the blog post linked just a hard-coded version. So let's install this at next as well. Jack Harrington, you are a national treasure. Thank you for this. Oh, we're on Alpha 9. Look at us go. You don't have to unless you use certain features. Okay. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out from the video. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can delete this file if we find we don't need it. But for now, I'm definitely going to stick with it. So we'll say post CSS config mjs. Sounds good to me. And inside of here, he's doing export default plugins and at Tailwind CSS, post CSS, and that. Cool. Okay. All right. App.css. That sounds close to what we had. Yep. Okay. That's it? Okay, so he's got a very specific example here. I'm migrating an entire website. I'm just risking it all, I guess. I'm risking it all. But let's see here. In Tailwind CSS, I just slammed the default theme, and we'll just delete that to be totally in line with what he's doing. But let's see here. We have import Tailwind CSS. He created a container query just to demo all the new features, I guess. And he's using add apply, but I don't know if he's using Tailwind classes, which is odd to me. I don't know. Maybe I just need the post CSS plugin. That would be great if that's all I need. I'm also going to remove the Vite plugin because I have a feeling that's breaking us. It's not helping us. I don't think he's using the Astro integration, but he didn't say. So I'll see what we can do without the Astro integration at all. And also the Vite plugin. We'll just remove that. Okay. So we'll start this up again. Okay, so he's just doing post CSS. I don't think he's using anything in his Astro config. Does he show the Astro config? I don't know. So going over here. Yep. Dang, that's really nice. Does he have... Okay, so he has a code repo as well. I'm just going to double check it. Yes, look at that. All these are tested. So does he have the Tailwind? Nope, he does not have the Astro Tailwind plugin. Okay. So all of this should, in theory, work. Here goes nothing. Okay. Can't apply... Ooh, it definitely seems like it's working. So I think all we needed was post CSS instead. Okay. Interesting. So Spring 1 does not exist as a utility class. That is true. It doesn't. I don't know how to add it. I have no idea how I would add that. I'm just going to do a Hail Mary and say, let's just do it like this. Right? And we'll just invent something. Well, not that. But yeah, we'll just stub it. We'll stub it. We'll put it in there. Does that work? Do you have to put it in a layer or something? Do you have to put it in @theme? I have absolutely no idea. I don't think you can do anything that I'm doing right now. I'm just inventing syntax. Okay, but someone can take... Okay, so it's definitely working. But yeah, I don't know how to apply a Tailwind utility class. How do you invent one? Can you even do that? I don't know. Well, let me think. So if I wanted to at least make a variable, I know I could do that. So if I do spring 1, I could head to here and apply just one of these. Now, I was being clever and applying a timing... I can't remember which file I'm supposed to go to. There we go. I'm applying 2 properties in one class, which I definitely liked doing. But it wasn't helping me with anything else. So, yeah, this is tough. Because what I want to do is apply multiple styles from one setup variable. So I'm just going to say Spring 1. I don't even know. I'm just going to invent something and see if that fixes it. Cannot apply unknown utility. Yeah, exactly. How do you create a utility class now? Can you even do that? It seems like his Dune example was creating a utility class, which is very interesting. So there's an introduction right here. Yeah, he's just talking about the thing over there. Tailwind v4. Over here, he was... Oh, interesting. Look at this. So he does have a Tailwind config. Yeah. Okay. Go off. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yep. Okay, so he's deleting an unused extension, but he's not telling you how to actually rewrite that extension. That's what I want to know. Because I do have something. I can totally live without it. I'm just a little bit disappointed that there's not a guide on this. Yep. Okay. Can't you still use the config file? No, the config file is completely ignored by Tailwind. That's my understanding. They want to add backwards compatibility back in, but for the alpha release, they just show the new stuff, and they do not allow you to do the old stuff. Support C, reintroducing compatibility, so it's gone. You could add to Tailwind utilities at layer if you need custom utilities. Good, that sounds right. Okay, at layer, maybe that's what I want to do. I've never used layers. Maybe this is a fun way to learn layers. But I believe his example also included something for this. So let me check that out. Over here, there was post CSS config, nothing going on there. There was app.css. This is interesting, right? So he invented a dot title class and just put it at the top. So I think I was using @apply to reference something else, so it's not a utility class. Here he's just inventing a class and showing that things compose correctly. So I could do that, and it would work totally fine. You just couldn't use @apply, which makes sense. So yeah, what is going on with that? Okay, custom styles, adding custom utilities. Let me see what this is. Okay. Well, again, dude, you can't... Okay. This is for an old version of... Well, this is for the stable version of Tailwind, so I'm not sure. Okay, but this could be useful. Okay, this... You are right. This seems like what we want. Let's try it. Ah. Okay, this is cool. And this is in the stable version, too. Very interesting. So if we say spring-1, we could do transition duration, and that would be, I think it's like 500 or something. I don't remember. But, yeah. And we also have, not 500 seconds, ms, so milliseconds. There we go. And if we head to the Tailwind config, we can also apply a timing function, transition timing. See, this is why I love using CSS, is you get language tooling for CSS instead of magic springs. It's great. So yeah, I also invented utility classes over here that I'll have to reintroduce, but it's totally chill. Like, we don't need them right now. I'll just say, you know what, let's just do the bare minimum to get it working. So we'll just do this for now, and we'll see if that works. Okay? So yeah, @layer utilities. Okay, but it's importing Tailwind utilities. I don't think this exists. I do not think this exists. We need to be careful here. Because, yeah, we do have @layer utilities, but I don't think any of these things exist. We will see. Well, at the very least, try it, right? So let's do @Tailwind there. And if that breaks, then that's okay. Okay, that didn't work. Let's remove that then. That also didn't work. Well, dang it. Okay, I'm just going to remove it for now because I don't want scope creep. I just want this thing to magically display. So let's remove spring1 for now. And we'll just do the rest of this, okay? Cannot apply under utility class dark text grade 400. Okay, interesting. So dark mode might not be implemented? Who's to say? There might not be any of these, though. So it's really hard to tell. And the theme function is gone. That's my understanding, so we will have to see what's going on there. Now, there's no... we're definitely in the dark. So we don't really know what's going on with light and dark mode right now. It's a real good question. I have no idea what's supported and what isn't. This is tough. This is tough. This is cool, by the way. At container. At XL. Oh man, there's some new syntax that I need to learn, I guess. So you can create a container, and you can check if the container is a certain size. Wow, that's actually super clean. If the at is for container queries, which I think it is, that is next level stuff. That is really cool. I love what they did there. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. What says on the page, plugins and custom utilities. We don't have support for plugins or for writing custom utilities that automatically work with variants yet. Okay, that work with variants. Maybe that's the dark mode thing. Because I don't think dark mode is anywhere in this default theme. No. So we might have to take all usages of dark colon and just remove it for now. That's okay, because we're only using dark mode on this website anyways. So let's just replace 10 occurrences with no prefix, okay? All right, we might have a new error. Let's find out. Nope, it just doesn't even have text gray 400. Interesting. So maybe we need the full default theme before the colors exist. I don't know for sure, but that seems a little weird to me, that we would need to copy the whole default theme for it to work. I would think that that's just included. You know what I mean? I would think that this is just included for us. Let's see, though. So if we just paste this in, no, it doesn't work. Dang it. Why don't colors work? Something is wrong. Something is very, very wrong. Did they change the way they do colors? Because it looks like the rest of these are working, right? Because it was able to get through all these, and then it struggled right here. Why is that broken? That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right at all. Did they change the way they do colors? Let me see here. Text. Did they talk about text at all? Is there any changes to text? Nah, this looks normal. Yeah, so they invented text neon cyan, and that matches to color neon cyan. And over here, I have color gray 900 and 400 and all of them. So what are we missing? Now, one thing I'm not doing is importing it at the... Oh, no, I am importing at the top. Dang it. So that's not it either. I don't know what I'm looking for. Right now, we only support dark mode using media queries and still need to re-implement the selector and variant strategies. Gotcha. But I can't get any colors to work. None of the colors work. That seems weird. None of the colors work. Why is that? I was told you can just put @theme and it works, but it don't work. I don't know what to do. I'll restart my dev server. That's a starting point here. Okay. I am porting a decent-sized website, so maybe I need to start like a small project and slowly feel out everything that works, which is disappointing, by the way. I was really hopeful that this would just kind of drop in, but yeah, there's a lot of things not implemented right now. Is the problem text specifically? Because what I can do for now, just to stub it, is look for all usages of text dash in, well, hang on, in .astro files. I can look for all usages of that. Maybe it's the @apply. Maybe @apply is borked. Cannot apply unknown utility class. Is the issue @apply, but everything else is fine? That could be. I have no idea. Rewrite the website in Tailwind v4. Well, all I'm doing so far is just deleting things that I absolutely need. Okay, I think @apply is busted. That's my guess. @apply is just busted, and we shouldn't use it, which is totally fine, because @apply isn't something I like to use anyways. So let's look for all usages of @apply. Okay, yeah, we've got a couple usages here. It's interesting that that doesn't work, but we could totally just say color var color gray 400. We're not going to get autocomplete, but that should work. That's the beauty of CSS variables, is this should probably work. Oh! Okay. Oh no! My beautiful boy! Okay. So I think @apply is busted. That's my guess. And we need to look for all usages of @apply. But yeah, fonts don't work, but that's fine. We can fix the fonts. Okay, this is much better. Okay, and the springs don't work either. That makes sense. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. And I think I can add back the usages of dark just to see what we get. We're going to keep that file around. We do need to commit this. Okay. And this is the alpha. Okay. And these are all the depths to get here. So we'll say, all right, depths, Tailwind v4. I'm committing this straight to main. Okay, so let's avoid removing the dark mode selectors. Let's see if they work. But to be honest, I wanted to remove the dark mode selectors anyways because I'm not really styling for dark mode yet. I'm just making everything dark mode, and then I'll come back and do a better pass. I think that's totally fine. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. The first thing I want to do is add in my custom headings, right? So, I can also head to that Tailwind thing, and I can just remove all of this, right? Because these are all defaults, and they should just work without any of this copy-paste magic. So if I just do that, yeah, it looks exactly the same. Great. None of these are here, which is weird. And the spring animations don't work. Got it. So let's see what we can do. We want to go at theme, and we want to extend it a little bit by adding in our spring classes. So I think we do have ease spring in a few places, right? Yeah, we do. Yeah, we have ease spring. So I'm going to say ease spring 3. Sorry, 3. I can't type. 3. And we'll head over here and just copy these. Yeah, let's just copy these and use some multi-select to get it looking nice. Okay. Okay, let's multi-cursor that. How do you multi-cursor? Is it control? No. How do you... Oh, dang it. I don't multi-cursor very often, if you can't tell. Okay. Oh, God. That didn't work at all. Really? Okay, Vim motions and that do not mix. Okay, oh, God. My computer's really struggling right now for some reason. Ease spring is equal to var ease spring 3. Yeah. So I actually do have easing for all of these. And they're just referencing other variables that I have from a separate library. It's very funny. We're just saying, create a variable that is the exact same thing as the other variable. Because how else are we going to do this? We can't. Ease spring 1. God, why is my computer just not happy at all right now? Sheesh. Okay. Yeah, let's just copy that. Ba, 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 ba. And we'll just say this is 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then we'll say 5, 4, 3, 2. Nice. Oh, and we have parens here. I would like to remove those. All right, great. So now we should have these variables for us to use. I don't know what it's going to do. I think I named them correctly. Let me head back over here. Do they work? They don't. Okay, well, so far we haven't been able to do a single thing by guessing. Every time we guess, it either doesn't work or we're wrong. And I don't know if that's a sign of a good API. Because I'm like, I'm not able to guess any of this. None of it works how I expect. Not the greatest feeling. Let's head over to the default theme again. Ease. No matches. What? So default, what? We have animations. How do you do ease? How do you ease anything? Okay, so we have transition timing functions. That's interesting. What? Okay, so that's just for this. I'm confused what I would name my variable. I just have to guess what the magic name is. And it doesn't match what's in the Tailwind config at all. At least it doesn't completely match it. Let's do our best guess. So this is transition timing function. It actually is. So in here we would say, where was it? Transition, transition timing function, blah. Okay. So let's head over to our Tailwind theme, and we'll say, there we go. Oh no, that's not gonna work. We need to select just these, but I can't. Dang it. Dang it. All right, so we'll say transition, timing, function, spring. Does that work? I think so. Transition, timing, function. Yeah, I'm just typing it manually. I don't care. But yeah, this should work. I do like it. It's just you can't get any autocomplete yet. And I'm not sure if they'll be able to get the language tools somewhere where this works. I have no idea. And also, it looks like it's not doing any formatting for me either, which is rough. Yeah, our language tools are just like, what is going on? So let me just restart the extension host, I guess. Because it's like, what is this file, dude? What are you doing? It doesn't work. It still doesn't apply. This is frustrating. Because, yeah, I did exactly what I was told. Boo! It says it right here. Where is it? Transition, is it the full phrase? Transition timing function. Yes. What is your problem? I just can't apply themes at all. It's like once you apply a theme, you can't do anything else. I hate being whiny, but like, what am I missing? You show me all these beautiful features and I can't use any of them. I can't customize it though. If you don't want to explicitly clear the default theme and would rather start from scratch, you can import Tailwind pre-flight and Tailwind utilities directly to skip importing the default theme. But it is importing the default theme, which I want to do. We also make all of your theme values available as native CSS variables. Great. To make it easy to reference any of them without the theme function. Great. It also makes it possible to use your theme values when working with UI libraries using great. All of those are great, but it doesn't work. Let me see here. Grid or Flexbox? What do you mean? Yes? Yes and yes. That's my answer to you. Okay, so let me see if any of the color overrides work. Because I know that we have like a BG gray or whatever else. Let's just say color gray 400 is red. And let's see if that breaks any styles on our website. Because it should. Yes, it does. So things are working. At theme is respected. But the spring variables are not respected at all. We can customize, but we can't invent. That's my understanding so far. So if I create transition timing function spring 1, which is such a mouthful, it doesn't invent a class. Yes, very vague. Use both. What kind of question is that? That's like React or Next.js. Both? I don't know. You learn both. Start with Flexbox, then learn Grid. Yes. Yes, both. You probably want both. They are two tools for layouts. So learn them. That's my advice. Okay, so let me look for anywhere it's using @apply, because my feeling is anything that's broken is using @apply. I also do... Okay, let's fix our heading font first, because I think that'll be more rewarding. I think we know how to do that. So let's see here. Where are you using that transition in your code? Good question. Maybe I need to name it a different class name. Because right now I called it eSpring something, and I thought it would translate. But I don't think it does. ease spring. Let me see here. I'm using it in a couple places. Okay, here I'm using it as just a CSS variable, which should work fine. I'm using ease spring over here. Let me see. Where am I using it properly? I'm using these variables, but this is not Tailwind. This is not Tailwind. This is a library that I'm including, so I know that these should still work. I can also click on these buttons to make sure of what I just said. Huh. They broke. Okay, so maybe it's the library that we downloaded that is no longer loading. Maybe I deleted it by accident. That would be funny. Let's take a look at that. No, we have openprop/easings. See? That's what is doing things. So let me import it at the top instead. I've seen that run into issues for sure. So let me just do it like that. Right? Let's go ahead and do it like it is. Then we'll head back over here. Oh! Wait, that's springy. See how that is springing? So something works. Maybe load openprops before Tailwind? That's also an option. It looks like that is working, which is good. This is not working still, which is bad. But, okay, what is the CD drive doing? CD drive.astro. Over here, we are... What are we doing? What are we doing? Ah, we're using an animation. Okay. But how do we get a spring effect? Okay, we're just referencing openprops. So clearly the openprop stuff works. Because, yeah. Yeah, that's working. So yeah, openprops loads fine. Tailwind does not load. So it is Tailwind's fault. We can keep blaming Tailwind for our problems. Good. That's easier to understand. Because I was like, why would the old thing stop working? That's very odd. Okay, so this is a button. Ooh, okay, so this is obviously not going to work anymore. So we should definitely check that out. But yeah, instead of doing this garbage, we could say filter that. Transition, timing, function, in, out, question mark? Something like that. And then the same thing down here. All right, so we would say var, then this becomes transition dash timing, dash function, dash spring 5. And that should work. Any usage of the theme function is now gone. We need to replace it with the usage of a variable. Okay, capiche? It works! Okay, okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Now I need to figure out why this is at the top. I have no idea what happened there. That's the only layout issue I've seen so far. Okay, so we definitely have an issue with the nav, and we have issues with fonts. But we're learning. We're definitely getting closer here. I like what I'm seeing so far. So, the heading. If we head to our Tailwind config, I think we override the... Okay, we override font sizes, because we're cool like that, and we use variable font sizes. We're looking at font families. So we have font heading and font body. Let's head over to here. And they're saying we can take stuff straight out of here and just plop them into our Tailwind config, which is quite cool. So yeah, if we look at which thing do we want to do first? Probably font family. So over here we have font family heading and sans. So we'll just take these. So we have font family heading and sans. We're going to take those. We're going to put them in our Tailwind. Then we're going to say in here, paste that in. Font heading. Yeah. Font family heading. And then font family sans. Yes. We don't have any syntax highlighting because this is very new syntax. Benny's streaming early. Yeah, buddy. We're streaming early for the Europeans and the such. Okay. I think that applied Atkinson, but it didn't apply my Ranga font. So we need to figure out what Ranga is going wrong. I think heading was the wrong name. Let's find out. Font family. Okay, so we also have default font family, and that is setting it to sans. That makes sense. What else do we have, though? We have font family sans, serif, and mono. Heading is not a concept. Huh. Weird. So how do you change that? Default mono font family. You can do that as well. I don't have a mono font yet, but I should. But yeah, it looks like in the Tailwind config, we invented heading, but it doesn't line up. Maybe we're using @apply and we need to change that. That would make sense. So if I head to base layout and over here, yeah, there we go. That's the problem. So if we say var font family heading, like that, and then down here, UL and button. Okay, we don't need to do that anymore because I think the Tailwind reset will do it for us. And this doesn't do anything, by the way, so I'll just remove that. We don't need any of these because now they're in the Tailwind config. Ship it? Ship it! Okay, sweet. All right, we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. Now we want to edit the font sizing to be variable fonts, which is a very cool idea. So if we look at font family, where's font size? Okay, yeah, that's all you gotta do. Ooh, and you can set line heights as well. This is interesting with the double dash. I don't know how I feel about that, but they're getting somewhere with it. And you can see right here, we just have these, and we're just going to move them to the theme file directly because that's what we do. So we head down here, we put in all of our clamps, and now we should magically have clamped font sizes. Let's see. Do we? Oh no. Oh no. Okay, there we go. I just have to let go. My computer's a little bit slow at the moment. Yeah, I think it's clamping. Yes, okay. So if we look at this, we have text slate, font size clamp. Man, okay. Now I'm liking this. Now I'm finding a groove. So here's where we have some custom colors. This is also somewhere I want to edit. So I don't think green and red are used. I can double check that. Whoops. Green, not used. Red, not used. Great. Yeah, our global styles are getting real simple. I love that. Whew, I'm having fun. I'm actually enjoying this. Great. So now we need to figure out all usages of the theme function, because that no longer works. Because it's just different now. It's just different. Let's just change all of these to var. Okay, and then up here we're going to say border radius full, question mark? Let me also consult the dictionary. Border round? No, there's nothing. What do I do? Okay, we can close that out. Yeah, is there no rounded? How does one do this? I don't know. Okay, but right now, let's see the before and after. Our switch is not... Okay, well, that is round. But we have the other background over there. And then over here, we have these guys. I think you can just say BG-gray-. But it might be the full word. Let's find out. Okay, let's see what that does. No, that doesn't work. Okay. I think you have to say background color. I think you got to go all out. They went with the full word on these. Nope, that didn't work either. Grr. Why not? Okay, so consult the dictionary. Background. BG. What? Confused. I'm confused. So it invents colors, but for applying them to text versus whatever else, it doesn't do anything. I don't know what to do about this. So I'm a weirdo that writes a lot of custom CSS that references Tailwind instead of the other way around. So I think instead of referencing these, you actually just want to reference the color itself. So we can just delete that. I don't know. Oh, yeah, we get rid of the dash. Okay, does that work? Probably. Yes, it does. Okay. So now border radius is where I'm like, I don't even know. Is it rounded? Like, I don't know. I don't know what border radius is going to be. I have to guess. Hello, Rishig. Welcome in. I don't know what this is going to be. Do they reference CSS variables now? Because I can inspect any number of things in here and just guess what it is. Probably. This is round. Which part is round? Oh, dang it. This is like the one thing I can't use. Okay, so rounded, right? Rounded 2XL, rounded XL. Nah, it just applies it in line with the compiler. Dang it. So I have no idea how to reference the CSS variable for this. But that's okay. I mean, we can totally style the switch with plain CSS. I was using, the reason I dropped down outside of Tailwind is A, I have a custom background that I do not want to write with Tailwind. And B, I want to use a feature they don't have, like grid areas. But for all this other stuff, these could be Tailwind classes. So let's split screen and write it over here. Now, Copilot sometimes helps you. Let's see if it does this time. But yeah, oh, and we already started the process. So we'll say width 0.6M. Come on, help me out. Come on, Copilot, help me write this. 1M. I had very specific sizing needs. Rounded, full. Flex. Justify, center. Align. Oh, no, there's no align. Relative, because of sizing things. And now we can hopefully delete all of those. Okay. Let's see what we get. Hey, that looks good. And it looks like the easing curve is not applying. So that could be another case of let's figure out what we're doing wrong. Or maybe we don't, no, we definitely have an easing curve on it. So let's see here. I think we still use, yeah, we're using our custom utility. Sadly, this doesn't exist. Wah wah. So if we wanted to, like, compose this ourselves, we could use easeSpring3 or something like that. And we could add, okay, I think this will at least apply the easing curve for us. Yeah. But it's really fast. So this is why I created the utility to have both. So you would say, come on, transition. Our Tailwind tools are gone. Oh, because there's no Tailwind config. This is an issue because it's expecting this file to exist. It doesn't quite work the way you would want it to. So yeah, we already figured out our font sizes, our transition timing functions. We decided not to use this. So I think it's time to mostly clear out the file. We still need to have the Tailwind config for language tools to work, but it has nothing to do with Tailwind v4 anymore. So yeah, let me close all of this, save that file, head to Tailwind, and just delete all of the extends that we have. Okay, so we don't need that. Oh, Tailwind typography. Yeah, how the heck is that going to work? They don't have plugins. I didn't really like typography, though, because I was like, oh, you're adding a bunch of spacing that I don't want. So screw it. Let's just do it like this. Right? Okay, so now we're just going to do it with that. And file kept for Tailwind VS Code extension. Right? And that'll do. And I kind of want that on a new line. I'm just feeling pedantic today. Okay. So now we should at the very least have some autocomplete. It won't be correct all the time because there are certain things that are different in v4. Like what the compiled output is. That'll be different depending. Okay, and it looks like everything works with the animations and such, which is so awesome. It looks like this is functional as well. We're not losing anything. It looks like our pointer class is not working, though. I would expect the pointer to be there. It's a little odd. But now I need to figure out why this absolute positioning is just borked as heck. What is going on with that? It could be a theme issue. So once again, let me check for theme usage. Most of it is transition timing functions. There's a couple instances like this box shadow that we could edit. It looks like there's no box shadow anymore, but do we need it? Yeah, we'll add it back. So yeah, we did a custom box shadow. We'll just say var color slate 100. There we go. Okay. Surrounding, yeah, okay. I should have just done a find all, but it's fine. All right, color dash slate dash 800. Cool. There aren't that many theme usages, which is totally chill. Over here, we got real interesting with this. So we used the theme function to access a CSS variable. This is where you sadly can't get clever anymore, because you can't use a CSS variable in a media query. It's very sad, because CSS variables are dynamic. So we're going to lose this. We can't apply it conditionally. I don't know why I made it screen small, though. Why did I do that? Why is it only on small screens and above that we want that effect? That actually makes no sense. Screw it. Just put it at the top. I don't know what I was thinking. I really don't know what I was thinking. Oh, I was thinking on small screens, I don't want to show the glow effect, I guess. Nah, we can show it. I don't care. This will work fine. Okay, and it looks like we just have some type errors, but those are expected. Okay, so we also have a little calc function right here. That's a fun one. I have no idea what spacing is now, but I'm hopeful that spacing is a thing. Oh, wow, look at this. So Tailwind v4 already has language tools. Oh my God, it has language tools. What? And it respects the theme function. What? Oh, wait, no, I think this is coming from... Is this coming from open props? Some of it is. But what about, like, colors dash slate? No, okay, it's coming from open props. Never mind. It's coming from a different library. I have 2 libraries in my app. I'm sorry. Never mind. Never mind. I was really hopeful, but it does not. Okay, moving on. It does not have that. We should calm down. There's a pre-release version of Tailwind expansion. Well, yeah, this one. Oh, okay. So the VS Code extension, I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out. But yeah, now I need to figure out spacing 6, and that seems important. Isn't that exactly what's positioning this? Let's find out. Yay! All right, we figured it out. It's a little off. That's actually surprising. It's a little off center. Either that or that's how it's always looked. That might be how it's always looked. And I just wasn't noticing. Yeah, I think that's how it's always looked. Okay, well, sick. I think we figured out all the hard parts. Now, okay, we got to work on that up there, but we can totally fix it. And now, oh, interesting. It's telling me that this doesn't exist anymore, which is true. Transition, timing, function, spring. No, oh, man, I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was just spring. Okay, well, perfect. Okay, and we're in the table of contents right now. So now we also want to edit this one to be just var. All right. It is very verbose, but it's as verbose as it used to be, so I can't be too upset. Okay, so now we got a spring effect. Now I'm wondering where the rest of my things are. This is odd. So I think there's something going on with the visibility property, and it's not applying itself correctly. Let's check that out. So we have group data open. It looks like it's mostly working. Yeah, it's triggering at the right times, but it's not setting the opacity correctly. Why would that be? Well, we'll check it out. It's applying something correctly. It's definitely applying the transition effects, but it's not applying these things based on state. Let's head to the blog just to see what's going on, because this should also have an issue. No, this works fine. So the pointer function doesn't work, by the way, because I should have a little cursor with a pointer. So this works great. Okay, so our prose is gone. We gotta figure that one out. But yeah, up here, these are not displaying. Really interesting. Yeah, so they're set to invisible opacity 0, it looks like. Or no, this is just styling. Huh. So yeah, this one should be set to data open visible. But it looks like it's just not working. Whatever's going on with the group calculation is broken. This might be a bug in Tailwind, so we gotta be cautious here. But yeah, it looks like the LI is showing. Oh, it could be the link inside. I haven't even thought about that. But yeah, it looks like data active might be broken. Okay, so data active. We set it to font bold, scale, whatever. Okay, so that's actually working fine. But this isn't. For whatever reason, yeah, we got the transition delay to work, so that's working good. Does anyone see anything immediately wrong here? I don't see anything immediately wrong. Okay, so let's see the computed, right? Visibility, first off. Visibility is visible, so things are toggling. Opacity is at 1, so that's working too. What is the text blank or something? That could be. No, it's in there. Huh. So we have spring 5. That might be the issue, but it shouldn't be. I've got to look for any usages of just like arbitrary springs because we can't have those right now. So we'll say ease spring 5, duration 500 or something like that, right? We'll at least make sure of that. Yeah, okay. But why did I have a spring effect on the A, by the way? What is that even doing? Okay, so I think, oh, I know what that's doing. There's a, okay, no new messages in the chat yet. But yeah, this is weird, right? Because I would definitely expect this to work. And if we click on, okay, maybe I had the wrong one selected. Let's see here. Visibility. You can't see behind my face, but if I move us over, we have visibility right here. Visibility is set to hidden, I think. Is it set to hidden? No. No, it's set to visibility visible. Huh. Okay. So it looks like visibility is visible. Opacity is 1. So why don't I see it? It must be a text color problem. Maybe that's it. So we look at this. We have block. So I'll look at display. Display is block. That's good. No underline, scale, color. Color is correct. Data active is text white. Data active is font bold. Data active scale 110. Transition, transform, ease, duration. So what else am I missing? That seems like everything I need. I'm confused. Because what else would cause an element to be invisible? What else would cause an element to be invisible? Z-indexing? Z-index? I don't know. It could be a Z-indexing issue. You never know. Because sometimes when you transform something, you can force it to be in the foreground. So let's take a look at this nav. And we'll just say... We'll just remove this for now, just to see what we get. So if I remove the color, it's still doing its thing. Oh, and I think I broke this. Weird, right? Yeah. Anyone have any ideas? I don't have any ideas off the top of my head. I think this is where we start ripping out classes until we find what's going on. It's possible that, no, it animated in place because clearly it's here. They're all here. They're just not visible for some reason. I'm going to blame Z-indexing. I'm totally going to blame Z-indexing for this. Because I think I did do a custom Z-index somewhere. We did do it in the nav. We do have a before on this as well. That's always a risk. Nah, this is for the button. It's just for the button that we did that. And then the frame, this is a totally different element. I'm not sure. I need to take a bathroom break, but I'll think on this. I'm not sure what's going on yet. But hey, Tailwind V4, we did it. We mostly did the migration. That's pretty hype. We back. Let me also change the title of the stream. Done. What is the VS Code theme? Hey, hit bang theme in the chat to find out. It is called Houston, if you go search up that one. Okay, I don't know what is going on with our beautiful boy. They're not clickable, which tells me it's just something to do with z-indexing. When you don't know, it's z-index. Okay, so let's go to styles. Let's just add something to this. All right, so we threw in, okay, let's use a value that actually exists. 10. Nope, that doesn't work. Okay, so that's always something you gotta try. Now what? It could be a transition effect, it could be transform. Okay. It's at opacity 100%, visibility visible. What could I possibly be missing here? There's something else that's going on, and I don't know what it is. Something suspicious. Is it scale? Oh, it could be scale. I don't know. Could it be scale? Computed. Scale. Oh, yeah. That ain't right at all. Okay, that makes some sense. Okay, let's check that out. So we have scale being applied somewhere. And I think I did scale 1 when it should be scale 100. Yeah? Is that it? Yeah, okay. That was funny. Why did I have scale 1 and why was it working before? That's my question. But hey, it works. All right, sweet. Boing, 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 boing. Oh my god, I'm so happy. We ported everything. I don't think we have any issues, he said confidently. And we also do want cursor pointer on the button itself. My guess is that's using @apply, and @apply is not working correctly. Well, I take that back, actually. Didn't we get @apply to start working for a couple of these? Yeah, we have rounded full, height, full, BG current, whatever. And all of that seems to be mostly working. Okay, so this toggle switch is actually broken. We do need to look into that. But yeah, it looks like all of that is applying, so that's good at least. But what else are we running into? We have timing functions, we have this, we have a transition delay. All sorts of things are applied, but it's not animating correctly. So let's take a look at our code. So we have our stripes right here. We have group data open right there. We say scale 0. We have the origin set correctly, but it doesn't transition. Why would that be? Well, I don't know if we're even applying transition. Yeah, we don't have a transition effect at all. So why was it working in the first place? Let me see if it's up here. It's not. I feel like we missed something. Because all of these have transition effects, but none of them actually put a transition. We have transition timing function and duration, but I don't think we say the properties. We are fools. Yeah, we can say transition transform, and now it should start working. Maybe Tailwind used to do that for you, and we just missed it. No, that didn't work. Oh, man, and zooming in really just nukes my computer's performance. Okay, so that's interesting. It doesn't animate. Why would that be? We do have the... Maybe I mistyped here, because we have transition timing function, spring 3. That's correct. I'll do spring 5 or something. Maybe that's our issue. No. Okay, good. My calendar was about to open. I don't want you seeing my calendar. There we go. It opened on my other monitor, though. Thank God. Okay, so no, that ain't it. I don't know yet. Because we are applying all of these styles, and I think they're working. Maybe not, though. Maybe none of these are working. Let's find out. So if we inspect this, we have a stripe for each of these. And I was getting a little bit clever with how each stripe is styled. Let's look at computed. So for example, it should have height specified. Height is 3 pixels. Okay. Border radius. Oh, that's not applied. Okay, so maybe we're learning something. Now that's working. But it looks like we have, yeah, infinity right there. That's interesting you can put infinity in CSS. I didn't know that was possible. That's quite cool. So yeah, it looks like transition timing function is just ease for some reason. And maybe that's overriding other styles. Yeah, that's interesting. But it should be transforming it. Transition duration, 0 seconds. Huh. So by applying transition transform, we broke everything. I don't think transition property even exists either. Yeah, so I think it's an issue with add apply fighting these styles. And that does make sense, by the way. So that's apply, and I used li for absolutely no reason. Oh, wait, no. That's applying styles to something else. Okay, we're getting closer, I think. So those are the transition properties. Yeah, so we say transition transform. And we want to say ease spring 3, perhaps? I don't know. And we also want to say duration something. Because for whatever reason, it's 0 by default. Okay, so there is no utility for ease spring 3, even though we've been using it in the whole project. So it looks like add apply doesn't respect custom utilities. That's the takeaway. I can work with that. So what we can do is stop using add apply and just copy paste across the whole thing. We could do that. I mean, it's not the end of the world to just say, screw it, let's just do it ourselves. But it's not the best experience to do this. You know, it's not my favorite thing to do. So we could say with full BG current. I don't know how necessary that is. I'm gonna ignore that for now. But we do have transition transform ease spring. Transform ease spring 3, and then we're gonna do duration 300. All right, so that should do. Oh no. Okay, so it's still, that makes sense. It's still trying to use this. Well, it doesn't really, because now the class is unused, but whatever. Let's just do it like that. Okay. And now nothing works. It's just gone. It's off the page. What? How could this be? Okay, so I think it's BG current that we want to use. That's interesting that the stripes just style themselves to be... Well, okay, they don't have a color until we apply it. That makes some sense. Okay, it is... I understand why I didn't use ease spring 3, actually. It just doesn't look very good. Okay. So that should do. And that is custom. Yeah, I invented eSpring 3. Well, not really. I used it from another library and then I ported it into Tailwind because spring effects are so freaking nice. They should be included in Tailwind and I would push for it. But yeah, that is a custom thing that you can add yourself. I actually have a little video about that if you're at all interested. Let me show you that. Head over to my thing. Better Tailwind transitions. Yes. So let me copy link address. This is a little tutorial on adding spring to your Tailwind. I'm using a separate library for it, but you can port it into a Tailwind variable very easily. I recommend that. But yeah, let me see here. All right, let's screw that. With full, rounded, full. Yeah, no problem. Okay, great. That works. It looks like we have a Z indexing issue, but that's okay. Those always happen. And yeah, that is a weirdly slow animation. I think I'm going to remove this just to see what we can get. But it is weird, by the way, that I didn't have transition transform and Tailwind just cooked something up for me. Like, that is weird, and they should remove that. But yeah, that's good. It looks like my transition origin is just a little bit off, though. Like, the X is almost perfectly aligned, but slightly off. And I think I know why. And this has probably been an issue the whole time. If you use a transition origin that's just like bottom right or top right, it's not going to respect the height of the thing. So it's going to be 1 pixel off. What you want to do is inset it by 1 pixel. And I don't know how to do that properly, so I'm probably going to leave it. But that's ideally what you want to do. Okay, so I think I'm also going to go to my layout, and I'm just going to do a command decision here. All buttons will now apply... Well, actually, screw this. Cursor pointer. You don't need a Tailwind class for that. You can just do it like this. I know that's not the most accessible thing, but it just looks better. That's what I've found, at least. I've read some accessibility articles that say, no, please don't. Please don't use pointer for all buttons in your app, because link tags are supposed to have the pointer. But it's just weird as heck. Most people expect the pointer at this point. So why did we ever set that default? I don't know, man. Okay, so the last thing to figure out is what to do about Tailwind plugins. Because we were using Tailwind Pros, and I don't think you can use that anymore, because plugins aren't part of this system at all. I don't even know what the plugin would look like. So what do we do? What Tailwind packages page have 2 tabs down in Arc? Oh, this is their default theme. I just found it in the blog post. I've been using this to figure out the naming conventions for all these things. So if I want to override it, like what's the name of fonts? What's the name of the colors? This is your answer. This is everything that they apply by default. So if you need to override, use this naming convention. Anti-button patterns are so weak. Get them. Get out of the startup. So yeah, how do you do that? Tailwind Pros. Whoops. Pros V4. See, yeah, Tailwind typo. Can you even do it? Is it something you can install? I think the point, we will make pointers the standard for buttons too. Languages evolve. Well, browsers care about backwards compatibility more than anything else. It is sacred to keep everything that may have been broken in the browser around. And you can override it, but defaults are tough to change. They really are. By the way, this is the thing that oh no, tab's gone. Never mind. But yeah, how do you do Tailwind typography with... Oh, this is interesting, by the way, that it's not V1. It is not V1. But how do you add you can't do plugins in Tailwind v4. It's just not implemented yet, which is totally fine. But yeah, I don't think you can do much. I don't think you can. We don't have support for plugins or for writing custom utilities that automatically work with variants. Obviously, we will make this work before stable release. Makes sense. How did the Astro DB example go? Well, we got derailed into Tailwind v4 so we could learn more about it. But you know, we could check out a little Astro DB because there's like one corner of my website where it might be useful. The problem is I wanted to upgrade my personal site to Tailwind v4, and this is a content site that doesn't really have a need for a database. The only place I can think of is where I have all these YouTube videos sourced. This is a hard-coded array, but if I wanted to, I could put this in Astro DB so I can hot update anything and use a webhook to re-trigger a deploy. So if I ever want to go in there and add a new video, it would just magically redeploy my website with a new player. But when am I going to do that? Not often. It's just a excuse to try low Astro DB. So maybe we'll do it just to have that. We're kind of using Astro DB like a CMS. And that's a totally fine use case. But yeah, I don't know. So we got everything working. We are still stuck on how we're going to get Tailwind Pros working. The basic version is go look at the style sheet for Tailwind Pros and just slap it in. The trials of an engineer, always a new thing. Yes. The problem is I'm a content creator, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to make a video. It can probably be about Tailwind v4. Let me try Tailwind v4 to see what we're really working with. And the answer is we're working with some real good stuff. But it's alpha, so everything is very busted. But I at least found a great tutorial from Jack Harrington about how to set up Tailwind v4 in any framework. So I'm totally going to... Oh! Theo put out do we do a live reaction to Theo's Astro DB video? I was there while he was recording it. So maybe that's fine. Oh, I'm nervous. Do we do a live reaction? I can put it on 2x speed. I'm nervous because I said something about webhooks, and I hope he didn't include it in the video. Let me see if he included it in the video so I can feel bad about myself. No, he included it. No! No, he included the webhook comment. I'm gonna get fired. I'm upset. Dang it. Oh well. At least we're honest. At least I set the record straight. But I feel bad. No, he's ending the video on a low note. But he did find this, so this is redemption right here. This is redemption. This is redemption. Okay. Do we do a full live reaction? Now I know that the thing I didn't want in there is in there. I thought about asking him, do you mind editing that out? But I was like, that's super dishonest. If he wants to include it, that is totally fine. Went through the step yesterday. My studio wasn't automatically setting up the GitHub action. It doesn't do it if you're importing an existing template. If you create from a template project, which I can show right now, it will include that file. But if you create a project from an existing repro, we decided to make this a manual step. So if you import, you have to add the GitHub action. And we do have docs on what the GitHub action is. Yeah, originally we were going to auto-commit it and auto-inject secrets. And we were like, that's a step too far. We had some early feedback saying, why are you setting environment variables on my repo? That is like really, really shady. And I want to control that myself. So we said, all right, if you're importing a GitHub repository, we'll make it manual with some instructions. But we can totally automate it from here. Because in the early days, we actually did have automation for that. And we just stripped it out because of user feedback. But we can put it back in now that we've learned some things and see what we got. I did not see docs on that. Okay. Well, let me show you the docs now. We did add docs throughout the week. So this might be new. But if you head over to Astro Studio, there is a section about this. Astro DB and Astro Studio are two separate pages on the docs. It's confusing. But there is this section right here. Set up the GitHub CI action. This is everything you need. And we should definitely link to these docs from the dashboard. We will do that. So when you're in Astro Studio mode and you want to add a CI action, here you go. All right, but these are the docs. Here's the full action. Here's all the instructions to set it up. Hopefully this helps you. But this will do all the magic that you've been looking at. No worries. Okay, oh, I'm really nervous about how this video turned out. I can't stop thinking about it. Do we watch it live? I'm going to watch it at 1.75. And we're going to react to this together, all right? Let me turn down my music as well. All right. It's already at 12,000 views. Now, I am happy to say, I was in the chat for this because I wanted to make sure everything works fine and support anything that was broken. And it went well. Things didn't break. We did have a lot of breaking issues, but we fixed them just in time for the Theo stream. We weren't thinking about it, but we did. I was there for the last half. Okay. I fully agree with this. So we've gotten the bun request a bunch of times, and our docs team just keeps rejecting PRs because we just assumed bun is a meme. Probably don't put that in yet. But at this point, there's a strong argument to remove the yarn tab because I think SvelteKit, if I head over to Svelte anything, like, oh, that took me to a weird place. If I go to SvelteKit, I heard that Rich Harris removed yarn because they actually didn't support yarn officially. And a bunch of users were running into issues with like yarn v3. So they said, you know what? The community can maintain support for yarn, but we are just removing it from Svelte, from the docs. I don't know if there's any examples of like npm install this. So maybe it's in creating a project. No, they just talk about npm. That's weird. But yeah, anywhere that mentions pnpm, I'm assuming. Let me see here. Yeah, they do have some stuff about if you're using pnpm. So that's interesting. Yeah. But yeah, yarn is supposed to be wrong. pnpm is what everyone should be using. It's very stable. It's trusted by a lot of mono repo authors. So if you're in support channels for popular tools, all the maintainers of those tools know pnpm. So it's best to use the tools that the creator of your favorite framework uses. Because then if you ask that framework author questions, they're like, oh yeah, pnpm, I use that every day. Let me help you. Yarn, almost no one's using that. Facebook team's using it. Redwood, I think, still uses it. But most of the time, it's gone. And also, why is yarn capitalized? I think that's just because we match whatever their docs say. But yeah. pnpm's used for components. Yeah. It caches your installs. It's great for mono repos. Yes. Bun is bleeding edge, though. So I would say, yes, remove the yarn tab. Add the bun tab? I don't know. Because that means we need to make sure that bun didn't have any breaking changes with Astro. And that's a tall order. I'm worried that because bun is its own little runtime, that we would be trusting this other tool that doesn't test against Astro. And I would worry that something breaks with the bun Astro integration that we don't maintain. And users are sending us support tickets saying the docs told me to use bun here. And we're like, well, we don't officially test against bun, so I'm sorry. So I think to have a bun tab, we would need to test against bun to make sure you could run the project correctly. Because otherwise, we're asking for support tickets that we really shouldn't ask for. It's the reason that we stopped maintaining the Netlify adapter or the Cloudflare adapter. we realized we're getting so much inbound support from this small group of users that are expecting this stuff to work, and we just don't want the maintenance burden. So I would worry about it. Yeah, they're overly zealous as well. That's what I'm worried about putting a bun button. It is fun to say bun button, though. A button. Yeah. I do understand that argument, though, because Astro is in the early adopter phase, and it's still there. So you're getting a lot of nerds that are trying out Astro, people from the Primogen and Theo audiences as well. So catering to them does make it feel more batteries included. So there is an argument. But I think I'm still worried, compared to these other package managers, that bun might break with Astro, and it's on us to fix it if anything goes wrong. That's what it means when you put it in docs, is suddenly you are to blame for support tickets. Yeah. Meme. I'm also going to share this with our Discord. One moment. As we're doing this, I'm going to share this in the Astro Discord so the team can give some live commentary. We'll see if we get any fun takeaways or other things. But yeah, I'm hiding this because you shouldn't be able to see all my work channels. The one problem with doing your job in open source is you can't open Discord publicly. Like all of my internal work messages, staff messages, planning, they all go through Discord, which is very weird. Let's see if we got it, because we do have an internal thread of Studio in the Wild, just to be sure. Yeah, it's 12K views in 4 hours, I think. That's pretty good. Yeah. All right, I'm going to keep this Discord off to the side just in case we get any fun comments from the team. I know that the Theo video is something we've been waiting to drop. We got a lot of content in the community talking about Astro DB, though, which is exciting. We got Midu, who's holding down the all of our Spanish-speaking audience that's using Astro. They really do come from Midu, and there's another streamer that actually invited me on, and I should remember his name. He's a member of the Vercel team. Just met him for the first time. But yeah, there's a strong Spanish-speaking audience with Astro because we have really strong docs. We have a member on the core team that's Spanish-speaking and maintains the Spanish docs. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on there. There's also Chris Pennington. There's a bunch of people that are trying out Astro DB outside of even the English-speaking community. So yeah, we already have a lot of videos on Astro DB, but the Theo video might get the most views. Okay, back to the video. We got some comments coming in. Based. Okay, this was a problem. So we put the reference for all the column types as the first snippet you see. I made a PR. This is now fixed. But understandably, when you go to the docs, you copy the first code snippet and you start playing with it, even if it's not a guide. And now, at the top, we put this example. Because all the other examples in the docs just show you author and body columns to make it very simple. This was meant to demo all the column types. But this gets you in hot water because all of these are required columns. So if you want to demo seeding or querying, you have to have values for all of these, which makes it a lot harder to demo quickly. This example just has 2 columns, so it's a lot quicker. So yeah, and I corrected it, and I was like, oh god, and I fixed the docs. So, but at the very least, it showed off all the column types to the audience. Like date object, that's really cool. JSON, we love ourselves a little bit of JSON. Yeah. Yep. Foreign keys at launch. Plant scale could never. Yep. Yep. And secret, he's using the dev server right now. He hasn't restarted his dev server. Check that out. Okay, so interesting fact, and we just ran into this. Seeding runs at the module level, so it doesn't seed your database until you go to your browser and visit a page that is using Astro DB. It's just-in-time seeding. As part of that, it means if you're using like an external tool to introspect your SQLite database, you're not going to see the seed data, and that might be a problem for you. Another thing is it doesn't log. So if you reset the seed data, you're not going to get any information. You just go to your browser and see if it worked. And I've seen this in 2 videos now where they expected a log and they didn't see it. So we can at least add a log anytime that it is reset to tell you seed file changed, even if it doesn't actually run any code. So we could do that, but I am wondering more fundamentally, should seeding run just in time or should it run on startup? I think it should do both, probably, but it is a bit funny. Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Totally fair feedback. I'm also going to slow it down because this is probably giving you a headache. So let me just slow it down. I was trying to watch it quickly because I was like, I don't know if I want to commit to a full reaction, but let's commit. Let's slow it down a little bit. Let's commit. Turned it up. Yep. Yeah, that's a big one. So when you're using Drizzle, you own all the table files and you need to import from them directly to get type inferencing. The Pro, you don't have any code gen. So you don't have to start up a dev server or anything to have types. The con is you have to create aliases and other things to make it easy to import those models. And we didn't love that. We also wanted a configuration syntax that was really, really easy to use. If you've used Drizzle's syntax for setting up a table, you'll notice it's way more verbose than what AstroDB is doing. So if you check this out, like over here, you can see all we do is just ID, column number, name, column text. That's it. That's the whole config file. If you head over to Drizzle, though, and we look at like, maybe not a select, we're looking for schemas. Oh, no, not schemas. Schemas are a different thing, which is very confusing. If we go to column types, perhaps, yeah, this will do. So you can see right here, you have to repeat the name of the table first off. So you have to say table, then table again. And then here you say int1, and then int1 in quotes again. This isn't because, ooh, they want you to have flexibility in the SQL column being a different name. No, well, that is part of it. But it's also because if you want full type inference, they have to do this. Because otherwise, you don't even know the table name when you're actually writing your queries. A little tricky thing. Because we use, because you have this object right here that registers the table, this is how we're registering all the column names and all the table names. So instead of having to type out the name twice, which is really annoying and can definitely lead to foot guns, you just have to type out the name once. And then by passing it to this object, we infer, oh, okay, you created a comment table, and we're going to name the table this. You created a column called author, so we're going to create an author column called this. So the cons of our approach, you have to use code gen, and you have to remember to register your table down here. But the pro is you don't have to have all this syntax for every table you do. You can just have a really simple column, author, done. I think the trade-off is worth it. That's why we moved forward with our own little schema syntax instead of Drizzle's. It's taking what Drizzle does and it's simplifying it as much as possible for our use case. if you're at all curious why things are different, why you don't infer with a seed file, that's why. We wanted to own the experience. We wanted to make it simple. So that's why we have Astro DB and all that. Yeah, I also heard from Theo that he was using a really clever solution to like share multiple projects in a single database using namespacing. That's a feature from Drizzle we do not have. And it was a hack to get around PlanScale's free tier. But now PlanScale's not free, so like who cares? You shouldn't have multiple projects running out of a database and using magic table names. You should probably say one database per project is like what you want to do and have a good free tier for it. So that's what we do. All right. Look at that. Yeah. No need to restart a dev server to get a database from non-existent to running with seed data. That is the one thing we were prioritizing. Like, it's got to have HMR. It's got to restart with every change. It should run without any restarts. That's just how it goes. Yes. Yeah, he jumped into deployment. This is where I got a mini heart attack because all week we've been putting out fires and bugs for people deploying to Studio. It was day one where it was like, oh boy, there's some issues with auth that we need to fix. Day two was like, okay, there's some usability challenges. Day three, we found a bug with seeding and authentication layers. Day four, which happened to be the day he streamed, everything was working. Thank God. So he had a good experience onboarding to Studio, and you will too. But it took some time to get there. Yep. Yeah. Yep. That's an important little thing about batch. You can learn more about it, but because we're using HTTP connections for all of your database queries, that's a concept that PlanetScale and Terso really talk about. Every database query is actually a fetch call to go get the SQL and bring it back. It's really cool. But to avoid a bunch of round trips to a server, you might want to batch things together into a single request. And that's what batch does. So it is a transaction. So it'll roll back if any of these queries fail here. But if you're like seeding 100 entries or 1,000 entries, you want to batch those into a single network request and send them all over a wire. Otherwise, it's going to send 100 network requests or 1,000. And you might have an issue with that. So that's what batch is for. Here we go. And we fixed that. We used to have a recommendation in the docs to run link, but we realized we should recommend login, then link. We actually took it a step further. So over here in the docs where you get to Astro Studio, now we talk about create a studio project from the dashboard. So automatically create. Okay, I'm reading. This is what we care about. Connect to the studio platform, ready-made template, or visit the Astro Studio guide. This is where everything is now listed out. So you can use the Astro Studio CLI, run the following commands to get started, log in, link your project, optionally push your schema data. So now if you're looking for like console log warriors or CLI warriors, it's here. But we also made it really clear at the top, like, hey, try the web UI. It'll link to GitHub. It'll be really nice. So try the GitHub UI. It will set up your CI actions and all that other stuff. Well, okay, unless you're bringing an existing project. But yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Yep. And we did update the regions. He only saw 2 regions there, but we have regions around the world, including Brazil. Brazil mentioned. You can host Astro DB in Brazil. Okay, you can do that. Yep. Yeah, nothing changes in your config. There you go. Pushed for. That based take. Based take. We don't need migration folders. They're out of date. Your Git history is your history. That's something we leaned into. So it's something PlantScale and a lot of modern databases use, where your source of truth is the config file. That describes everything in your database. And over time, as you add new columns and new tables, those exist in your Git history. And every time you push, it's checking the old schema against the new one to see if those changes can be made safely. And it'll actually block any changes that would be a breaking change to your database. You can run force reset to reverse it, or to kill your data, just blow away the universe. But the thinking is every change that you make in your config file is a safe change that you could walk forward or walk back in Git history, no problem. And it is more possible than you would think. You're like, how do you never make a breaking change in your data? There is a way. It's expand and contract. And I don't know if we call this out in the docs, but it's a way to like safely add new columns, add new things, drop them when they are no longer used by your user base. There's ways to walk your schema forward in a safe way without ever having to like do rollbacks or migration files. It's really cool. So as part of this, every time you push, it's going to make sure it's safe. It's going to push up the new schema, and it will let you start writing to it. You don't have to manage a migration folder. You don't have to push up files. We're going to manage all of that for you. Right. Right. Yes. Exactly. I didn't know that. That's what I was talking about. Firebase Astro. There it is. So you can run push to get the schema up, execute if you want to migrate data. Two separate steps. Some people were confused, like, where's my seed data? Well, you run it manually. But it seems like now that the docs are very robust and we upgraded them, no one's really asking about that. They're figuring it out. They're seeing that there's an execute command and it's working fine. So that's good. I got caught by that? Okay, good to know. You were probably like, where is my data? And we were wondering about this because you don't want to push seed data every time you push your schema, because then you would have duplicates, right? Like here he has, hope you like Astro DB, enjoy. What happens if he pushes again? Does it delete all those entries and seed new entries? Then you're deleting user data. We can't delete entries. What we would have to do is seed the same 3 entries again, and you would see a duplicate row. But there is an argument for like setting up a project for the first time. Maybe there's like DB init, which pushes your schema and pushes seed data. Maybe it even asks you in the CLI, it looks like you're pushing for the first time. Do you want to push your seed data? And then it would do it for you. That's a little optimization that we can make. We just wanted to start with the bare tools to start. But I think that could be a nice option if it's a new database, you have no schema at all, and you just want to seed it. I think that would make sense, yeah. Yeah. I was wondering though, like, I don't love having a separate command when you initialize versus when you push. It's kind of nice to show you, here are all the commands. And now that you ran through it to initialize your project, you know that you can rerun those commands to use it over time. Like by making it a little bit harder, we teach you the full API. But if we use init, then we hide the API from you and you have to learn it separately. There's pros and cons to making things easier because you make it easier to do, but you hide all the steps involved, so you have to go read them when you're ready. Like, I do think there's an argument for DB init. There's also an argument that DB push should just ask you. So like DB push is still the command, but it would have a one-time question that says, this is new. You're about to push your schema. Do you want to push your seed data as well? I think it could just be a question when you run push. But also, we do have the CI action that runs push for you. So, like, what would the CI action do in that case? Would it automatically seed? I'm not sure. We need to think about it. Maybe just a step in the CLI process. Yeah, it's tough because we can't prompt you if it's also runnable from a CI action. Because prompts don't work in CI actions, they're automated. So would it automatically push the seed data? I guess? I don't know. Need to think about it. Yeah, it's tough, right? It's tough. So I totally get where y'all are coming from, and I want it too. Because my first instinct was, this is weird. If it's a new project, it should probably do seed. It should probably do that. So maybe the answer is, if it's a new project, maybe it can do a fetch call to see if it's a new project and then run a init, otherwise run push. I don't know. I need to think about it. Because we want it to work in all cases magically. Because the original, it used to seed for you in like a very old version. And what would be nice is if you created from a project template, as soon as you created from the project template, you can immediately go in and see all of the data with all the seed data. That would be so cool. Instead of having to like say, all right, I created from a template inside of when I'm talking about templates, what am I talking about? I'm talking about over here where we have Studio Astro Build. If you create a new project from template, this will set up the CI action and everything for you. And in fact, I think it will create my database. Let me do that from like the job board. Job board demo. And we'll make it public. I don't care. Oh yeah, Brazil mentioned. Okay, create a new project. And this should create the database, configure the repo, and it will wait for the CI action to finish successfully. And once all of that is done, your database is ready. Alien, all right. I sense bias. I sense a little bias. Just a little bit of bias on that. Just saying. I can't believe you're still here. I've been streaming for, yeah, confetti. Gotta love it, right? Okay, so you go to continue. If I go to database, it's empty. It didn't work. That's a bug. Bug. Where's my database? Alien. Your template is bad. Either that or Fred's code is bad. No. Another problem, we don't link to your GitHub repo anymore. So it tells you how to do all this, but where is my GitHub repository? You see, there's a way to get to settings, but there's no way to actually get to the repo itself. Taking a look. Why didn't it push? Because we have a config. It should have pushed this up. Studio actually has an intercom, so you can talk to the support team if there's ever an issue. Okay, so it pushed, but it didn't appear in my database, which is a very scary problem to have. Alien, didn't we run into this early? Didn't we run into this where you were seeing it successfully ran, but then you went to your dashboard and it wasn't there? Oh, now it's here. Okay, race condition. The database wasn't updated in time, but now it's here. So yeah, we had an issue where the database just wasn't updating at the same time that it told you it was done. Okay, so it works, but we do need to figure out our timing. We don't want it to finish at the right time. Okay. It's interesting because the CI action was done. It just wasn't up to date. We lost the race this time, yeah. But this does work, as you can see. But I would expect the seed data to also be here if I ran from a template. You know what I mean? If I go to db/seed over here, you know, we have all this seed data. It would be cool to see that in the dashboard straight away. So I don't know. I feel like the CI action should run a init on repo creation. Like, is there a trigger from a GitHub action to say first run, or like the first commit to this repository, run this, otherwise never run it again? Like, is there a way to do that? I have no idea. But yeah, we want something that seeds just when you're setting up a project for the first time. And we need to set up the triggers for that. Yeah, I don't know. Can you look at CI logs? The CI logs worked fine. I agree that I would expect seed data. Yeah, me too, especially with a template. I think you can check that. Okay, maybe. GitHub action trigger on repo creation. Something like that. Run action on repo creation from template. Basically that. I would recommend using create event. And okay, on create. Ooh. Yeah, we could do this. Oh, wait. No, that didn't actually link anywhere. But okay, we have create right here. Look at this. An event will... Okay. What is this? Last command on the created branch or tag. Interesting. Runs your workflow when someone creates a Git reference, Git branch or tag in the workflows repository. Okay, this might be it. This might be it. All right. So even with the commands we have today, we could run db execute. We could run push and execute. That would be pretty sweet. That'd be pretty sweet. Okay, so we do have options for sure. We have options. Yeah, so maybe an init command is what we want to do. Because you can't do push. Okay, so we did originally have something like this. Push -- seed. And this would look for the seed file and run it. Maybe that's what we want to do. But init is a cleaner name that kind of describes what we're doing. So we'll figure it out. In fact, we might have shipped -- seed. Try for yourself. We were supposed to delete it, but maybe we didn't. I have no idea. All right. This is Tanstack Table. The Drizzle Studio team is getting on our butts because they're like, we built the database viewer, and you should be using Drizzle Studio. Stop using your own custom thing. And it's like, we want to own this. We don't want to outsource a table viewer. I mean, maybe it's a good idea, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. Also, I did get a reply in our GitHub chat. Yeah, we already posted another PR to the docs. Okay, there are people already making PRs to the docs for Bun. At least we have a template closed message we can copy paste now. Oh my god, our docs team has it down to a science. We have a template to tell people to go away if they ask for Bun. That is so good. They want you to stop using a custom thing for your own custom viewer? Yeah. It's kind of funny, isn't it? So, okay, Drizzle Studio is an embeddable table viewer that you can put into any application. It's a very interesting angle where Drizzle didn't invent a portal. They invented a table viewer for other people to use. Drizzle really understands where they live in the stack. They're not trying to be the next startup. They're trying to give all the tools that you need to the Terso team, to the Nux DevTools team, to the Astro team, so we can build products with Drizzle. That's the angle that they've been going for. So Drizzle Studio is part of that. It's a table viewer, but you embed it anywhere you want to. So it's an embeddable table viewer, so you don't have to create your own way to deal with pagination and all that. It's interesting because we have dealt with a lot of bugs trying to build this ourselves. But we do want it to look themed, obviously. And we also want table viewers that don't even look like table viewers. We want to go totally custom. So, I don't know. Is this Laravel and Django for JavaScript? I think it's too early to say that. Because Laravel and Django, they don't have a custom database hosting solution. And also, Astro is trying to be the next WordPress. WordPress is not what Laravel and Django are going after. Our thinking was Astro is really good at putting content on the web. It's not great at web applications with CRUD and live viewing. I mean, it's good at it, but it's not our angle. So instead of trying to be the next Laravel, we're trying to be the next WordPress, which means having plugins, having viewers that can, integrate with Astro Studio and spin up tables on your behalf. So instead of you having to configure every table by hand, you just add the blog integration. And the blog integration creates the blog table and the author table and the category table. And it gives you a bunch of functions that do all the many-to-many joins and all of the garbage behind the scenes. So it's really pluggable in that way, so you don't have to really touch the database unless you want to. That's the end goal. Right now, we just have the primitive. But you might have noticed, and not a lot of tools would do this, but we have integrations at launch. So if I head over to Astro DB, docs, and I head down here, there's a section on building a DB integration. So you can already, today, write an NPM package that scaffolds out tables and scaffolds out seed files. It's really cool. We already have people that are checking out, how can I build an integration that stands up Astro DB tables? It's right here. So I think we're going a different direction than Laravel and Django. I was going to say with DB, Astro is really setting itself up. Yeah, and that's another thought. We don't want to own the CMS experience. You know how WordPress doesn't really have like a rich text edit? Like it kind of does, but if you're using WordPress, you're using ecosystem integrations. You're using WordPress engine, right? In order to edit all of your stuff and get a query API. That's the angle we want to go for. We don't want to build the perfect CMS. We want to build the perfect platform for the ecosystem to build CMSs for everything. That's what we want to do. So you could build an integration. I'm forgetting my browser tabs. You can build an integration that has a little tab right here, right? A little tab underneath database called blog. And you click on the blog tab, and it gives you a rich text editor that writes to tables behind the scenes. We didn't build the blog editor. The community did. But we built the platform so the community could go do that. That's our thinking. And yes, you can totally use raw SQL. You can go all the way down as well. I'm really hoping this becomes parts of low code. Maybe. To make a customizable portable library, DB is the primitive. Exactly. And WordPress got this right too. WordPress made a post table. And to this day, when you create a new WordPress project, you have the post table. And it's up to other plugins and integrations to add more tables and help you query those tables. That's where we want to go. But you have to start from somewhere, and that's a database. Oh my God. God. Maple did make it for us. Uh-huh. This is slander. 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 We actually use Gleam v1. Straight up, Gleam v1 for the entire authentication layer. Super optimized, distributed, lamp stack front end. I mean, it's hype. It's hype. Oh, I think if you double click the video, it speeds it up. What the heck? How did I do that? Oh, true. Yeah, Kubernetes. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're using Flutter. That's actually, yeah. Can you believe that? Respect to the game controller. Respect to the game controller. Flutter is a game engine. It's not a UI framework. Facts. There's no Flutter in Astro DB. He's memeing. Yes. Yeah. Content collections mentioned. I built that. It's still great. Based. Very based. Every major JavaScript framework has started going after apps, and they have moved away from content sites. It's why Next.js, SvelteKit, maybe Nuxt. Okay, Nuxt is actually more content focused. I'll give them that. But Next.js, SvelteKit, Remix, Solid Start, they've all designed routers and they've all designed utilities to make dashboards easier to build. But in lieu of that, they made it harder to build content stuff. They have no helpers for Markdown. The router is harder to use if you just want to have content pages, because now you have to have layout.tsx, page.tsx. So in the pursuit of dynamic things, they made content sites worse. They just did. You can't have it all. You cannot have it all. And Astro said, we're putting a flag in the sand, content sites, it's what we do. To be fair, the reason JavaScript frameworks are moving towards apps is because if you're building content sites, you're more likely to use a no-code or low-code solution like Notion or Webflow. But when you're building an app, you're more likely to outgrow those tools, and now you need something custom. So the reason that coding frameworks focus on apps is because apps have those needs where you need to get away from low code and start doing something else. But Astro's argument is WordPress is the biggest part, and WordPress has a lot of custom PHP and custom React plugins. It's not quite low code. It's been around for decades. It's in need of a disruption. Maybe we're going to be the disruptors here. We're coming at it from a different angle because WordPress started from let's make it low code, and now we're going to make it pluggable. And Astro's going the other way and saying let's start with a coding solution, make it really freaking good, and now let's add a plugin system for less and less code over time. So we're going the other direction. We'll see where we end up. And to be honest, I don't think Astro appeals to the WordPress crowd that much. Astro appeals to the developer that doesn't want to use WordPress. That's who it appeals to. But no one's switching off of WordPress for Astro right now. They're switching off of Gatsby. They're switching off of Nuxt. They're switching off of VitePress. And they're switching off of Next.js. But we're not pulling in the WordPress crowd. So that'll be interesting to see where we go. But I think we recognized, yes, a lot of people are moving to apps. Yes, code is better suited for apps. But yes, there are so many people that are still building content sites with code, and we need to help them, and we need to make it better and better. So if you're trying to build docs, if you're trying to build a blog, you're trying to build a newsletter, you're trying to build a homepage, Astro is better than Next.js, period, because we just care about the use case more, and that will happen when you have a focus tool. Yeah. We'll debate the JavaScript bundle, but to be honest, everyone who's in the Astro camp that's trying to debate bundle size, it's a losing argument. Don't do it. Don't argue Astro is less JavaScript. Switch off of Next. No one cares about the bundle. No one cares that Next.js has a bigger bundle. They care that the Lighthouse scores are good enough. They care that the dev experience is good. And they care that they can get something out the door. Bundle size is a losing argument. That's just what I've learned. So even if it's true, it's just not the issue. The reason you would use Astro is it's better than Next.js at documentation because we have ready-made starters for it. Astro is better than Next.js at spinning up a content database because we have a viewer that's built for it and we have a database built in that is just nicer to set up than Drizzle and PlanetScale. These are the reasons you switch off. It's actually better DevX for what you're trying to do. Bundle size be damned. Yes. Yes. The essence of what we loved about WordPress, make it nice. Because WordPress is not nice. We need it nice. Yep. 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 Yes. Yeah, I'm surprised prefix came up here. He really loves prefixes, but I can't come up with the reason you want multiple projects, one database, except for you're trying to get around the free tier. And we don't have a limit on the amount of projects you create, so that's not an issue. So why do you want prefixes other than getting around free tier limits? I could see, like, I don't know, multiple projects, one database, and you have relationships between all of the data or something like that. I don't know, maybe. I don't know a reason for prefixes other than pricing. Yep, yep. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Okay, so this could be a thing. If you have like one database, multiple projects. I mean, that definitely happens where you have one database, multiple clients or backends. Like that does happen. So I don't know what a WordPress multi-site is, but I'm assuming that you're deploying to different domains, but you're referencing the same content, something like that. In that case, I kind of get it because I do have a setup right now where whiteboardtheweb.dev has all of my videos, right? Here's all my videos. And then I head over to here, and on my homepage, I have a video viewer. Again, these are my videos. So ideally, I would have one database with my highlighted videos, and I would reference it from both bhomes.dev and Whiteboard the Web. Right now, I can't do that. Well, actually, you can link to the same database. You just can't do prefixes or any of that. So I take that back. You could set up an Astro project with that, but your config file would have to be copy-pasted between both of them. Otherwise, you would run into issues. You could also do like a mono repo for all of your domains, but that kind of sucks. You know, we're working on it. We haven't really thought about the one database, multiple projects approach. You can link to the same database from a different project, but it will be weird to use. So that's a good call out, I guess. Heading back to YouTube. Okay. Yep. Exactly. We make it easy to do fetch calls, but now React Server Components has the same party trick. So we're not very cool anymore. But yeah, I mean, we've run into this a lot with external data requests for content collections and other things. We're like, yes, but this isn't the right API, so we're not going to support it yet. We're going to think on it more fundamentally, and that's how we landed on DB. But yeah, I agree. You do want repo data for like open source stuff, like our Astro docs. They probably won't live in Astro DB because we want people to go to GitHub, see the documentation page, and edit it with the pull request. We don't want them to create a studio account, log into our docs page, and contribute that way. That doesn't make any sense. So there's certain cases where you do want content that's checked into the repository. But there's a lot of cases where you don't want that. And that's what we wanted to think about. Yeah. Yes, we were. Exactly. This is why we did SQLite. Is it's super cheap. We can maintain the free tier forever because when you're not using a SQLite database, it doesn't cost us any money to host. The problem with PlantScale is if you spin up a demo database and you never touch it again, you have this MySQL server that's running, and they have to manage like spinning it down, cold starts, all of that stuff. SQLite's just a file, so we don't have to worry about people trying it out for the first time and throwing it away. We don't have to manage anything. It's why our free tier is something we can commit to in a way that PlantScale couldn't commit to a free tier. It's just what we've noticed. But also, for something like SQLite, it's bad if you have a lot of writes and reads that are all inbound because you got to distribute them. But if you're using it to build a content site, well, the writes are coming from the database viewer itself. You're using it like a CMS. Or they're coming from smaller features in the app, like a comment system or a form. We want those to work as well. So in that case, though, you do care more about the reads than the writes. And if that's where you're sitting, SQLite's the best match. That's true. Hey. Yeah, Elliot and I were there. We were at the offsite. We were hanging out in Copenhagen, actually. And I was showing off the APIs for data collections, which still exist, and they're quite nice. But, oh, shoot. I noticed that we have a tutorial now, and it breaks the SEO Content collections. Yeah, just go over here. There's this section, and by the way, we need to make these docs simpler. Don't worry about it. But if we head down to references, yeah, we were starting to realize, yeah, there's feature requests like reference-related content. We're like, okay, I guess we can invent a reference operator to reference another collection. And you notice it's magic strings. It's not very type safe. It just kind of works well enough. It's not as good as what we have today with DB. But it was at this point that we were adding references. We were like, we're slowly adding the feature set of a database. Like, we need references. We need to add references. What about sorting? What about joins? What about the like operator? What about all these things that people ask for, but we can't implement? It feels like we just need a SQL database to knock out all those feature requests with a new primitive. Now, I wouldn't say Astro DB is a primitive for local content. If you're managing stuff with Git, content collections is what you want to use. Astro DB is not a good match. We were trying to make it a good match, but we realized it was way too confusing, so we stopped. But yeah, we were realizing, yeah, SQLite's a good primitive, and it solves a lot of problems that we're reinventing right here. So we just need to find it. So I will say Erica's pushing did push us down a rabbit hole that we shouldn't have gone down, at least not right before launch. We were going down the rabbit hole of local SQLite databases to replace content collections. And we were trying all these APIs to make it like, ooh, you could use Astro DB to create a local database or a hosted database. And here's completely separate APIs, completely separate use cases. We were like, God, this is confusing. We can't launch both at once. So the dream isn't dead, but we realized, okay, we want hosted SQLite in a CMS-like feel. And the local content story will work on later. People are going to ask for it, but we want to work on it later. You know, because some people are like, I want to query my markdown files with SQL. That's something we did not address with Astro DB, and it's still on our minds. And it's on Erica's mind. In fact, Erica only wants that. Erica doesn't like server-side rendering, doesn't care about the hosted story at all. We just want a local SQLite file and dump a bunch of markdown in there. You can do that with Astro DB if you hold the seed file wrong. Like, you can make it happen. But, you know, we weren't after that one. So there are different ways to go about this probably. But thank you, Erica, for opening our minds to SQLite. It's how we got here, 100%. Yep. Yes. You do. No async local storage. That's an issue. Because we do have, or I maintain a suspense component for Astro, and it relies on async local storage. So I have a feeling you can't use suspense in the browser with Stack Blitz. That sucks. I need to test that. Yep. Yep. It was scary how much was built in when we tried libsql for the first time. We thought, surely they haven't thought about our use case. Surely, like, the Drizzle API is going to be broken, and surely it won't, distribute. We won't be able to host our stuff on top of Terso. Everything worked in like a week of prototyping. And we were like, oh my God. Because it's scary to rely on a newer tool like Terso when they're figuring out their own story, their own startup, etc. But we were like, dang, the stars align so stupidly well. We would be fools to try to build this in-house or use some other solution. So that's it. It was just like the rest is history. It's too good. We have to use it. Yeah, we made sure Stackblitz works. Well, yes, kind of. Sort of. So we got the vision working in around September or October. We were using another tool, and I won't say what it was, but it wasn't Terso. And we actually had Studio pretty fleshed out. We were trying to figure out the use cases. At first, we were like, let's put a blog editor. Well, it's kind of hard to compete with our own content collection, so let's talk about comments and forums and other things that are writable. And then we're like, we got the story. And I guess in December, yeah, we had the story fleshed out. And then in January, we had an existential crisis. We tried doing the local content story. We realized it's too complicated, so we mostly focused on hosted content. So there was a lot of soul searching that happened even after December. But I will say where Studio existed in December is about where we shipped now. And we just refined it, put it on top of Terso, made sure everything worked. I was thinking about doing Terso right before Astro DB came out. Yeah, Astro DB is Terso, even easier to use, with a lot of potential for apps and blog posts and all those other things that I alluded to. All right, this is just Matthew talking about what he wants to see, okay? I don't care as much about the file system part. I like it coming from another host. It's totally fine. But yes, there are people, there are enthusiasts that want to dump a bunch of Markdown into a SQLite file and not use Astro Studio at all. Okay, you can do that with the seed file, kind of. I don't care about this use case as much, but a lot of people do. So yes, it will definitely be happening. People will be using that. We've been thinking about prototypes to turn content collections into SQLite. We will see. For now, it is definitely like meant to be writable, meant to be hostable, all the good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That was another thing is we didn't want to say content layer until we were sure it wasn't anything like Gatsby. Because when you hear layer, like content layer or data layer, you're like, oh god, Gatsby, that thing that failed? No! And we don't want that. Because we do think GraphQL got it wrong, but just a SQL database, that's going to get it right. So that's definitely on our minds. Like, yeah, we want that to be nice. We want you to be able to source, as he mentioned, like a WordPress API and dump that into Astro DB. Now, the question is, there's a couple ways to go about it. Do you want a plugin inside of Astro Studio that actually takes all of your WordPress API, migrates it into hosted tables, and then lets you modify it in the Astro CMS or DB or whatever? I don't know what to call it anymore. But yeah, that's one avenue, is a migration tool that brings it into this hosted environment for you to play with it inside of the Astro DB dashboard. The other option is never do that. Keep hosting it on WordPress. Build a hook that just builds it into a local SQLite database. No need for any hosting. That's the second option that we don't fully address, but people will want to try. This looks like a sing. What are you saying? What are you saying, dude? That seemed off topic. I may have misread it, but I'm just going to move on. Yep. It's true. It does mirror it pretty well. Once a page request data. Yes, I know. I thought that would be intuitive, but then people brought in their SQLite tools and they expected something else. Sorry, the guy on the stream topic. I never go off topic. Okay. Yeah. What did he do? He's got quite the look. He is a distinct man. 100%. Distinct. Okay, I'm getting a message from a maintainer of the Cloudflare adapter. I'm quite curious. It looks like we have a preview release. That's exciting. Okay. There's a video on Astro with Cloudflare that's coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. I also got to use the bathroom. I'm going to take a break. I'll be back. We'll finish this, and we'll probably end the stream because we've been going for a while. Let's finish this baby up. Wanted to verify my schema and seed data, then build a page. Yeah. And that's totally understandable. People want to make sure everything is running. They do the pre-flight checks, and then they start using the database. I mean, it is weird to think, oh, wait, it's so built in, I don't even have to check. But yeah, I would probably check if my tables are stood up as well. I mean, when I've been building, I do it after the fact if something went wrong. But you might want to do it yourself, so it's true. All right. Hang on. You can use Astro DB for your auth layer. You can do that. It's a database. It's good at being an auth layer if you want to do that. Because auth is read heavy. Auth is checking if a user exists. But once you write the user, it stays there forever. So SQLite is actually, secretly, a great cache for all the user information to go look them up. I would say Astro DB is one of the better matches for an auth layer that you can find. I was literally going to use Astro DB for auth. Good. And if you are, I believe, hey, Elian, share that link again. I lost it. No, I have it. Yeah. Here's a template to use Astro DB as an auth layer. It looks pretty good. Pretty simple. Lucia's the library. And Lucia's maintained by an Astro fan that is really, really good at authentication. Really good. So check that out. Because I really just need OAuth. Yeah. Oh, you don't even need OAuth. Well, I mean, this helps with OAuth if you want it, but you can also just not do it. You should star it. Good point. Let me set an example. Baby's first star. Everyone, go star it in the chat now. Hit the star. Hit the star. This is such a good starter. Yep. Yeah, it doesn't need to be perfectly replicated. That's what's up. Yeah, because when you're setting up a database and you're onboarding to a new team, it shouldn't be set up your Docker container or go to plant scale and set up your branch, copy the key, paste it into your local like you shouldn't have to do that. Like it's such a problem when you share templates or other websites with people on the internet. Like if you want to go to this template to try out a new Astro project, you shouldn't have all these caveats for, oh, you need to go open an account on plant scale in order to even try it. Or you need to open an account with Astro in order to even try it. You shouldn't have to do any of that. You should be able to just download a template that someone made with Astro, and when you run the dev server, it stands up a local SQLite database, no login required. So you don't have to do anything to check out someone's code. I love that so much. That's what SQLite lets you do, is stand up a file instead of standing up a database server. And that is a huge difference. Yep. Yep. It's me. Good point, yeah. Honestly, based. Oh, I didn't realize we talked about Cloudflare D1 publicly. I'm not sure we should disparage another tool, but I guess we did. But yeah, we were on D1 for a while, and it just wasn't lining up. They didn't have the same vision that Terso had. So trying to use D1 for like distributed databases and all that, it just, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. It was deprioritized on their roadmap while we were trying to get ready for launch. We were like, this isn't going to work. But D1, if you've seen it, it is a very cool platform that's also distributed SQLite. But Cloudflare owns their own layer, while libSQL is an open sourced hosting solution slash SQLite solution. So libSQL, think SQLite if you could contribute to the source. Like, it is so open in that way. It is so close to the metal. D1, proprietary to Cloudflare. They're not promising SQLite compatibility. D1 might diverge from SQLite more and more down the road, and it's mostly closed off. So if we committed to D1, we're really committing to Cloudflare, which is a lot more risky, surprisingly. You would think Cloudflare's the big dog and Terso's the small one. But D1 is also very new. It was in alpha when we were trying it, and beta by the time we were getting close to launch. And it was still just had a lot of rough edges. So it didn't feel any more stable to us, and it's not open. It's very proprietary. It wasn't as easy to plug as Terso was. It was just a problem. Roadmap issues, too. So here we are. Yeah. Yeah. That was another issue, is if you wanted to run it locally, we had to include Cloudflare's own mini-Flare bindings just to run the database. And that was a lot of JavaScript and a lot of setup that isn't necessary. So it wasn't great to lean on Cloudflare that hard. Got him. Yeah. I don't know. We invented HTML. We invented databases. Now we invented migrations. It's just a natural progression. I don't see the problem. Expand and contract mentioned. Now, to be fair, you ran the same set of commands. It's just in one universe, Astro DB push creates a migration file with all of the changes to make. And in another universe, there is no migrations folder. It's just comparing local to remote, and that's the whole relationship. So as a user, you didn't see much difference, but you were committing a migrations folder, which also implied you could edit it, but please don't edit it. Like, it was this weird fragment. It was this weird artifact, I guess is the word, from how you push stuff. And it was just like, why is this here? It's not necessary. If we need to bring it back, we'll bring it back, but let's go with the simple one. We have. What did we do? It's partly why native apps are so strong for so long. Yeah. Fred also mentioned it on the stream with Ryan. Oh, yeah. Are you talking about the migration folder? Yeah. Yeah. It's a great article. Even if you don't use PlanetScale, they have some excellent learning resources. Excellent. Aaron Francis is like was the content creator over at PlanetScale, and he has this tutorial that I watched trying to build features for Astro DB because I wanted to learn some fundamentals. There's like this PlanetScale learn databases or something. I don't even know what it's called. Yeah, MySQL for developers. That's what it is. I mean, MySQL and SQLite have much different implications, but there's these like overarching takeaways you can learn about creating databases that I learned from this course. It is totally worthwhile. And this blog post as well is really good. By the way, what he's reacting to is on our blog. I should share this. But if you go to Astro Build blog, and now there's an Astro Studio button. Look at that. But yeah, he's looking at this article right here. It's got a link to that expand and contract pattern, which is totally worth it. Yeah. Why did you use this over MongoDB? Hey. We needed it to be web scale. It needs to be web scale. SQLite is web scale. I'm not sure if MongoDB is web scale in the year of our Lord 2024. That's all I can say. Leave it there. Web scale mentioned. Great question. Web scale was PlanetScale. In 2024, PlanetScale is now like ant scale because you have to pay money. Got him. Kind of. I don't know. I think PlanetScale, I think the name has a new meaning. PlanetScale used to mean you could scale to a planet-sized database, and that is still true, but now it means you have to be a company that's the size of a planet in order for them to be a customer, based on that blog post. Unless you have a planet-sized company, you probably cannot scale with PlanetScale. It's built for people that are already at PlanetScale. Planet-sized wallet. All right, we're done with the roasting. All right, $40 a month is not that bad. If you have a major business, it's honestly a fair price. I don't think it's a problem. It's just that, I don't know, the energy of the post rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. The energy of putting layoffs and a change to their pricing in the same announcement, bold and not good. So the messaging was bad. The pricing is fair, and the product pitch changed. It's just weird. So yeah, don't worry about that. And if you're worried about Astro and their free tier going away, again, SQLite is free for us to host. When you stop using your SQLite database, it costs us $0 to have a file sitting on a CDN. So unlike MySQL, which has a lot of setup costs for a new user, we have almost no setup cost. We're paying fractions of a cent to let you try Astro Studio. So we're not worried about the free tier. We're really not. SQLite good in Python, good to know. Yeah. Yeah. Show that to y'all. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. That is an interesting little side note about linking to things that aren't even a database. Because that part, I don't know what that looks like. Our vision this whole time has been, yes, we want plugins that stand up databases for you, so you don't have to think about the tables, the joins, etc. But what if it's a plugin that just talks to an API and makes them accessible to reference? Because Clerk owns the user table. In an Astro plugin, Clerk actually doesn't align with how we've been thinking about this. Because Clerk wants to own the table. And Studio wants to own the table as well. So who gets to be the source of truth? Well, Clerk doesn't want to mirror their tables into Astro DB / Studio, whatever. And that's kind of weird for them. So it's like, yeah, what would that future look like if you had like a Studio dashboard button for Clerk? Like, would it show you just a fetch call for all of their tables? And how would you reference those from your own tables? It's interesting to think about. I don't know if that means duplicating the data directly, or if it means some other virtual table madness that lets you like query it even though it's not there. I think virtual tables are where it's supposed to go, but I need to learn more about virtual tables to say. Yes, exactly. Now, the thing I described there is not open to the community. We're trying this out with first-party tabs that explore really common use cases, like building a form or rich text editing. And then when we found a pattern and we worked with some like integration authors in the community closely, then we'll open it up. Astro Discord mentioned Astro.build/chat. Yeah. Yeah, baby. The beauty of a SQLite file is it really is a file. So you can download the file and take it somewhere else if you want. Yep. All right, so this is where I get hit. This is where I spoiled the mood. I'm sorry that I said anything. But when you create a webhook, what it'll do is it will trigger whenever you add things from the UI. So if you're using Astro Studio like a CMS sort of thing, you could insert something from the dashboard and trigger a redeploy of your website. However, if you do like a db.insert in your application, that will not trigger the webhook. So webhooks are meant to be for like the static use case where you're using this dashboard as your data host and using that to redeploy a static site or something like that. So it's halfway to the vision. And I'm sorry I corrected him on stream because it made the mood sour, but I'm glad I set the record straight because we probably would have gotten a flood of issues to Astro Studio saying, Theo told me webhooks would do something and they don't do that thing. It's like, yeah, we should change our messaging, but adding the feature is going to take a while, so hang tight. And also, little relic of the past, tables used to be called collections, and we changed them at the last minute. I was pushing really hard to change collections to tables, because collections are confusing. They're not quite database tables. It sounds like table with magic sauce, which it isn't. So we renamed it to tables. But this webhook feature was built back in December, so we didn't update collections to tables. So if you see anywhere in the UI that says collections, it's because, well, we held ourselves to release. We didn't postpone the launch, so you will see a couple corners, okay? It does sound Mongo-ish, exactly, and we didn't want that. We wanted it to really feel like SQL. See, this is the issue. Logs and generators will not work with application code, but they totally could. We would need to hook into Terso. Terso would have to help us with this, but Terso has been stupidly helpful this whole time, so I bet we can make something happen. Yeah, Discord bot. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, at first I regretted calling this out, but to be honest, I don't, because that's a big old disclaimer that needs to be said if he's going to talk about this. I'm so confused, yeah, of what a webhook can and can't do. So the webhook will trigger if you're in the dashboard, and I will go to my dashboard right now. If you're in the dashboard, and to me, I feel like we should have pulled webhooks before we launched because it is too confusing. But if I go to my dashboard and I insert a row, right? Okay, invalid number, that makes sense. I don't even know. Example.com. And then, hey. And why is this focusable, by the way? Oh, okay. Yeah, we have this new API to like set it to empty string so that it's like not required anymore, but it's satisfied. Anyways, so if I hit save row from here, webhook triggered, webhook mentioned. But if I were to insert this row from my application, like I put db.insert into a API endpoint, it would not trigger the webhook. So don't think about the things it doesn't do. Just think webhook means if I go to my dashboard and I edit the table from this viewer, the webhook will trigger. It will not trigger for anything else. So if that's you, if you're like, yes, I want it to trigger when I update the UI, that is me. And I will actually use this for the record, because on Whiteboard the Web, right now I'm pulling from the YouTube API. I don't want to do that anymore. What I want to do is just go to my dashboard in Astro DB. I want to add a new row, and I want that to tell Vercel, rebuild this page with all the new data. That's what I want to see. So this webhook would get me there. I could use it like a CMS. I could insert a new video, and I could rebuild my website. That's the whole point of it. But we are getting there with the other use cases. Do better. There we go. This is what you could have. This is peak. Like it or not, this is what peak web app looks like. Shout out to Maple Leaf. I endorse this product. I did not build it. All HTMX, all LAMP stack, absolutely amazing. Will it work for DB events too eventually? Exactly. We want it to, but we'll need to work with the Trousseau team to make that happen. Oh yeah, dude. Hot dog themed. Straight wamp. Straight wamp. Oh yeah, he was also wondering about storing environment variables. I've heard that use case. I've just never done it myself. It's interesting for sure. Okay, trying to figure out how to use this with other platforms. Yeah, that's one thing we're going to get. And I'll be honest, our goal is to just make you really jealous. If you're on Next.js and you want to use this, we want to make you so jealous that you try Astro. That is our goal, all right? I'm going to be honest with you. We like that it's tapped into Astro hardcore, and we like that it doesn't support other frameworks. We want you to try Astro, okay? We want it because it'll be worth your time. And we also want to build features where we know what it's going to be hosted with. Like once integration authors start building tools for this, we want them to know the user has an Astro project. If we said Astro DB is this general hosting solution for every framework, we just made the ecosystem awful. We made it so much harder to make an integration because now you have to think, oh God, what if they're using Webpack? What if they're using Vite? I don't know. No, we want one environment and one framework. So if you want to build an app for Astro Studio, we want it to be super easy to know what the user is using. It's like Apple, all right? When you build an iOS app, there are like 3 screen sizes you have to care about and 1 iPhone. We want that experience for you as a studio app developer. We want that feel. You could totally abuse it, jailbreak it, whatever. Oh. Isn't that sick? Yeah. Fair and reasonable price. Now, I am curious where we'll go from here because Astro will need to scale into a, profitable company. This will get us some profits, and especially at larger scale, planet scale, you might say, web scale, this will give us some real revenue. But there will be more services, Astro is not going to stop at DB. There's a reason Studio is like its own name. We didn't call this the Astro DB dashboard. We called this Astro Studio because when you create a project, it might have a database, but it might have all sorts of services. I won't say what they will be because we're still thinking about it. But you can imagine all sorts of other services that are both third-party and first-party to make your Astro app really nice. Astro Press, exactly. Astro Marketplace? Who knows? Who's to say? I honestly don't know if that'll be a thing. Maybe. Seems like an idea. Yeah, index your database. Yeah. Already up to 15K views. Look at all those views that are coming in while we're watching. All right. That was a good video. That was a great video. That was a good video. Is there a comment that we can leave on this? I don't even know. WordPress mentioned? I don't even know. I don't know. Yeah, we'll just do WordPress mentioned. Let's do that. Yeah. 15 million reads on my database in Studio per day. Performance is amazing. How do you... Alien, is that actually true? Is that true? What are you hosting? How are we already up to 15 million reads a day? What do you manage? Are you the next startup? What is the Alien startup? Wait, how? What are we talking? The themes. Wait, how is that at millions of requests? We don't have that kind of inbound traffic. Are you sure? I mean, congratulations, but also really? I can't believe that. Probably storing 10 classes. Honestly, 1 request per class. That's what's up. But if y'all don't know, if you go to the themes page, this is on top of Astro DB. And when you submit a theme, oh, it's redirecting here. That's a little interesting. So yeah, this new theme page, I'm just going to authorize, whatever. Yeah, I trust Alien. But on here, you don't have any submit themes yet. Submit a new theme. Look at this. Your queries are broken. Yeah, I'm very bad at SQL. I'm feeling there's something wrong there. That seems like a lot of queries. Pay up, buddy. But yeah, you can see right here, this is a full theme builder, and it uploads to Astro DB. And then, of course, updates the page with server rendering. So there you go. All this stuff, uploading files, everything included, all with Astro DB. So this was really like kicking the tires and making sure that it works. Astro Solutions. Yeah, Alien, are you using indexes? You know indexes are part of it, right? You can add an index. It'll speed it up. The middleware is 2 requests per page view. I guess, but how do you get from there to million? Because that means we have about 1,000 requests per average user or something like that. I don't know how many average viewers we get, but I don't think we're above the tens of thousands. And the categories and tools. Okay, yeah. So there are all sorts of requests I hadn't considered. Like there are requests for, like if you click on these categories and you start clicking around and view results, that will take you somewhere. But still, Alien, I don't know about this. I don't know. You definitely need indexes. What the heck? Put some indexes on your queries. I mean, you're making us look good with how well we scale, but also optimize your queries, please. 50 million is out of pocket. It is out of pocket base, even. Pocket base could never. Go look at the execution plan to figure out what kind of... See, the whole chat is afraid for you, okay? Exposed in 4K requests. You gotta go fix your queries. Gotta go fix them. I'll look at your application code. I'll audit it. You know what? That could be a fun thing. Okay, I'm no SQL expert, but I feel like a fun thing would be auditing people's SQLite databases just to see if we can make them faster. We already have some DB projects. I can go check. Next stream, we can audit your project. Live, public shaming. Or public congratulations if it's really good. I don't know. Not sure. Ellen, if you're okay with me... Actually, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure themes are... Isn't the themes app closed source? I don't think I can show it on stream, can I? I can ask the team if I have permission to do so. But yeah, if I have permission to do so, we will audit the Astro Themes website. Otherwise, I can audit the template because we do have that template. I'm wondering if the queries are optimized in that template. We can research. We can learn. Yep. Sheesh, 10 million. 10 million. Oh my God. What? Jeez. Oh my God. Sheesh. Well, you can throw a lot at it. That's good. And at least it's a generous free tier. Sheesh. Hey, he's still at $0. So pretty good. And we're hosting something that definitely gets a lot of visitors. Like, we are still getting thousands, tens of thousands of visitors. So that is something. Man. Okay, I'm going to end the stream here. This was a great freaking stream. I forgot how fun morning streams are. Y'all have been fantastic. We got Tailwind V4 pretty much done. I'm going to push this up. Tailwind V4. And I think I know enough about Tailwind V4 to make a video. So yeah, expect a whiteboard the web on Tailwind V4. Super freaking awesome. And we did get a live reaction. I don't know if I'll do anything with this, but I'll definitely have the VOD. So if you head over to youtube.com/@bholmesvods, I think. If you go over here, yeah, get subscribed because we do upload all of our, well, we haven't uploaded our VODs recently. I need to work on that. But we'll upload the VOD for this stream. So if you want to go watch the reaction or send it to a friend, the VOD will be up over there. Otherwise, cheers. It's been a good stream. I don't know what my schedule is yet, but I do stream in the mornings once a week-ish. Usually on Thursdays, but you can, of course, actually, how about this? You can join the Discord. Get in the startup. If you get in the startup, wtw.dev/chat, I send announcements whenever I'm live, and I also send announcements with my full schedule. So if you want to get an overview of, like, here's his videos, here's when he's going to be live on Twitch, I put it all there. And we also have a community of Astro builders that talk about the cool stuff we're doing. So if you're interested in Astro, it's just a friendly community to go check out. So yeah, if you want to know my schedule, definitely go there. Otherwise, follow me on Twitch, and you will get that notification. So there you go. All right. It's good having you. I think I pulled a new crowd as well. I haven't seen a lot of your faces, but it was good to see you. Kashaban, yes. Good to see you. We had this was a good video, for sure. And I'm going to head over to Twitch TV to see if we can raid anyone. I'm getting hungry. Dude, I have skipped breakfast. I've usually had breakfast like 2 hours ago, so yeah. We'll raid Nate Codes, I think. Nate Codes, good programmer on the internet. And I'll see you next week. Sometime like this one. I don't know. But we'll raid. Let's see how many viewers we pulled. We pulled a decent amount. Oh my God, yeah. Whoa. We pulled a lot of viewers today. Dang. Oh my God. This is more than usual. And I'm surprised on a Saturday that we're pulling viewers. But thank you. I wonder if it was the Tailwind V4 that really brought people to the yard. I noticed there's a lot of Tailwind fans out there, so expect more Tailwind content. For sure. Otherwise, get in that Discord, get subscribed. I'll see you next time. Astro DB hype. Astro DB is hype. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of Astro DB and Tailwind. That's what I do. So get ready. Buckle up. We'll see you on the next one.